unkempt goatee as well going on. Um, he is fair-skinned more so than other people in Athos, strictly bespeaking life of someone who's lived indoors. He wears traveling clothes, no armor, and he has a blowgun strapped to his back.
Absolutely.
All right.
And then a mole tears his head off. No.
That was fast.
All right.
Turns out I was the evil character all along.
Ah!
Biggest
take
plot
long.
twist.
All right. Who's next?
I'll go. So, Milo is a mole. Pretty short though for a mole. Mole tend to be like, 7 feet tall and stuff, and he's under 6 feet, so he's one of the smaller mole that you've probably seen. But he's still a mole built like one, and it looks like he's seen some action. He's missing one of his ears. He's got a nose that's clearly been broken a few times. He's not a pretty looking guy. He's got some burns like on his neck and a scar. So it looks like he's seen some action. He's got an obsidian battle axe and not a lot else. So you'd probably guess, and he may have divulged that he maybe fought in a pit once or twice, but not uncommon for mole that look like that.
Does he wear any armor?
His scowl is his armor.
Scowl is an armor.
That's a very Dark Sun position to have.
RBF.
I'll go next. So I'm playing Quixote. He's really tall, thin, wiry. He's got like dark brown skin and a very well manicured, thick mustache. He kind of wears a long coat that's open in the front, and on his chest he's got like an angry red birthmark that looks like an X. He carries around a really long three-stringed guitar, which is very similar to a guitar, except that the bottom half of it is what looks to be like a scale, like a Melicott scale, that he can stick into the stand so that he could play the guitar upright. Aside from that, he seems kind of young, but he has like an old voice. And he carries around an obsidian dagger in a sling.
Okay. Very nice.
Alright, I guess I'll go. So, this character doesn't really have a name. They stand in front of you with this Thri-kreen stands in front with a battered golden yellow carapace that's been pretty much worn down by the sands. Strapped to his back is a quarterstaff, and adorned on his body is pretty tattered and torn clothes for travelers. Beady black eyes stare at you, pretty much dead emotionlessly, and towers over everyone else in the group. I was thinking that the mole would be a little bit taller, but this one is standing at 7'4" approximately, and seems to be just looking around at everyone in the group, just trying to figure out and watch what expressions they're using.
Okay, I am Shrasa. Dark skin, dark eye, long dark hair, human female, pale blue traveling clothes, and I have a dagger strapped to my hip.
Okay. I see. Well, that's good. Great. So you guys find yourself standing. I'd probably say you guys are probably standing somewhere in like the Jadirian Way, which is kind of over here. It's not the sort of central hub where a lot of trade and stuff happens, but there's definitely quite a bit going on as you sort of look around. You guys might have been here for a day or so and have seen most of, or at least have a general idea of the layout here. So thus I provided you a map to some capacity. But yeah, so you guys find yourselves newly banded together in some capacity or another, so that you might be successful in your future ventures, or at least less unsuccessful. And so yeah, we have the camera sort of pull in on you guys, and the world is your oyster.
What time of day is it? Do we know?
It's probably a little before midday.
Have we been staying like in the same tavern or inn or whatever happens to be in Athos?
I'll say that there was probably, you guys probably bounced around at a couple taverns and have just sort of met up and sort of agreed to sort of adventure in some capacity.
Gotcha.
Is there a legend on this map? Or actually, it looks like everything has the same symbol, right? Yep. Never mind.
Right.
Oh, there is a legend.
Oh.
Never mind.
It scared me. I was like, what?
So
Bow before my godlike powers.
So it looks like we're in a primarily like an area that has shops. Is that right?
looks like it.
I mean, there are certainly a lot of areas that are shops in the city of Alterac as it is effectively a sort of trading post that of which expanded to become a sort of full-blown city in some capacity.
So, Faldir, what do you propose that we do?
Well, it would make sense for us to look for a job at this point, so we can really see how well we cooperate together, seeing as how we haven't really done anything yet.
Fair enough.
So,
Good.
where is a good place to look for a job?
You probably want to seek out one of the trade houses. I came in on a caravan belonging to House Anika.
Alright, do you
So
have
do
any...
you have connections there, or?
Oh, I wouldn't say that, but it might be a step in the right direction.
Alright.
Sounds good to me.
Well.
Mike, you're making a lot of like background noise, I think. Like,
Sorry.
so like whenever you're not talking, just mute. It's no problem.
Okay.
Nice. All right, yeah. So I will tell you guys, just sort of roughly from you guys have been here a day or so. There are quite a few trade houses that work through here, and as mentioned previously in session 0, but so I'm talking to the choir, and you guys already remember this. But there are basically 4 major trade houses that of which seem to sort of vie for trade dominance in the city of Alterac, which are, if you look at the trade houses, you can see their flags. House Anika, House Stel, House Vordon, and House Wavir.
Well, guess we'll head to House of Veer then and see if they have any work for us.
Oh, alright. I was mentioning House Anika, but we can go to House
Anika
Warrior.
works. Anika works too.
I have
Short-term
no
memory loss.
loyalties to any
Must be.
house. I traveled with House Vordon, but
Yeah.
report in a sandstorm.
So, absolutely. So yeah, so I'll go ahead and I'll mark it for you guys so that you guys do know. So like House of Veer, they do have a sort of setup in the Wavirian Palace. They themselves basically are on a wing of the Wavirian Palace. They're not inherently tied to the government itself, though obviously they're so closely connected that they have a house built along the side of it. And so as far as everywhere else goes, I'm gonna go ahead and write here. So, we're gonna go ahead and say that house. That's green is a terrible color. You can't see Jack on this map with green. So, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that and make it real big. Bam. So that you can kind of see. So there's Anika. And over here is Stel.
Sativa.
And over here we see Vordon.
Okay.
Okay? Did everyone kind of see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So those are where the sort of major, those where the trade houses are sort of set up there. That's the merchant hall. It's effectively in what each merchant hall basically, which trade house it belongs to. Okay. So like I said, you guys are here over in the Jadirian Way, and you guys are gonna try and make your way over to House Anika. Okay. So yeah. So as you guys wander on by, you can see that this area has a good bit of sort of pack animals and stuff that are kind of being sold, and you see that this area has a place that visitors kind of tend to hang out. House Wavir seems to have a good deal of presence in this sort of area as you walk by. The big one is you see Jane's Stables as you kind of make your way through this area, and yep. Alright, as soon as everything stops breaking, that would be awesome. So yeah, so as you make your way past Jane's Stables, you can see that there's this sort of basic setup. You can see that outside it's not terribly fancy, but you can see that somewhere towards the back there's you can see that somewhere towards the back there's definitely a enclosed animals kept in a pen. In particular, you can see Erdlu and Crodlu munching on some meal and maggots that are kind of mixed together. There's actually a sort of storefront that of which is built there towards the front, that of which people kind of go by and speak at, but the majority of the area that this encompasses is sort of this open area where the animals kind of wander around and stuff. As you continue to make your way, you cross through here and go into into the sort of inner city, which isn't really too much of a problem. People are allowed through, but you're kind of under higher security here, as there are quite a few guards that of which are wearing simple carapace armor, nothing particularly fancy, each one having obsidian spears, watching you as you enter in. You make your way through past the second company barracks over into the Merchant's Hall of Anika. Here we find a very large building made of sort of like a sandstone kind of deal, and obviously each wall is adorned with a large banner, that of which has the sigil of House Anika on it, and flying above it, flapping in the wind, is of course the sort of grayish flag with the golden orb in the center.
Well, looks like we're here. Are there any guards out front?
Yeah, there are a couple of guards, and these men are clearly different. They are far more well equipped with heavier armor. They have blades at their sides, and they seem to be standing at attention. But they definitely look more well equipped than the town guard you see around you.
Right.
Do we see any people besides guards?
Not outside in the front. No.
Okay.
Well, Faldir, do you want me to do the honors and walk up?
Oh, by all means, if you want to, that's fine.
All right, I'll walk up to the near guard, kind of hands held peacefully in front of me, and I say, "Ho there! Who be in charge at this time? We're seekers looking for work."
Yeah, and the guard just kind of has a stone face. His eyes dart over towards you, but he doesn't seem to respond in any meaningful way. The door kind of creaks open and somebody wanders on out. A man wearing gentle traveling robes and has a belt around him with various pouches. Clearly has the look of some sort of merchant or something. As he kind of says, excuse me," makes his way on through. The door kind of slowly creaks back, closed.
Sir, if I may ask a question, just a moment of your time.
What do you want? He kind of looks at you. We don't need any more guards for my caravan. Thank you.
Oh, well, perhaps there might be somebody inside that does. Say, would you happen to know of any contacts that are looking for seekers of work?
He kind of shrugs. He says, he kind of shrugs and just sort of shakes his head. He doesn't seem to be particularly interested in having this conversation with you. But he says, yeah, sure, there could be lots of people in there. And he kind of pulls away from you and kind of tries to scamper off as this weird man accosted him.
Yeah, not very friendly, I see. I'll let him go. I don't say anything or follow him in any way.
Well, also please note that you have like a group of people with like heavily adorned weapons
Yes, right.
and like behind
Yeah.
you, and you're like, hey,
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 you.
guys!
do you know anybody?
I chased this guy down. Who do you know?
I look at the guards. I say, would it be a problem to just walk on inside, or do we need some sort of invitation?
They don't seem to respond. Their eyes look over towards you, but they don't respond in any meaningful way.
I
Well,
go walk inside.
I just shrug and
Yeah, I'll
follow
go-
Faldir.
Yeah,
Alright.
walking.
Yeah, I'll follow.
You succeed.
We all die. The
So-
guards kill us. They cross their swords and we all get cut in half.
It's just one swing, you know.
How much XP do we get for reaching the door?
For reaching the door,
Hey, doors are hard, man.
We reached. Yeah, doors are a challenge rating 8, I think.
Yeah. They really are.
for some they can be.
For some.
So, but no, you guys are able to make it on through, and as you step inside, you immediately step into a sort of foyer kind of area. It's a small room that of which, sort of in the back, there's sort of this clay table that's been set up roughly, where you can see a woman sort of working away. She's got this sort of parchment that she's sort of peeling through and then rolling it up. She'll sign something or something before going over to the next one. She's got this braided blonde hair that's tied back into a bun. There are a couple of little jewels and trinkets sort of hanging from the sides of it. She's a fairly slender build. This is the CW, and she's dressed in sort of fairly common clothes, and has similar to what you see with Faldir. Faldir?
Yeah, Valdir.
Okay, Faldir. Similar to what you see with Faldir, is that she does have a bit paler skin than what you might expect for somebody who sort of works for a living, if you will, on the cool air of Athos, relatively.
The brisk.
The
Brisk air of Athos, yes.
Yeah, exactly. That brisk air of Athos. That comfortable. So yeah, so that's what you guys see.
I'll approach her.
You succeed again. You guys are killing it.
Yeah.
Excuse me, miss. We were wondering if there was anyone here who might need the service of some waste walkers.
Oh, of course. She goes ahead and she says this long sort of quill that is in fact a feather, which you guys know is not very common, and she sort of sticks it in this sort of jar of ink, and she goes, one moment please, and she stands up and walks behind her. There's a doorway, but there's no actual door. It just has beads that kind of hang down.
Classy.
And
I
she's
like it.
Standard. Yep.
She parts it. It's specific to this house. It's not everywhere. And she walks.
It's gonna become a thing.
You hear sort of whispered tones behind you.
Behind us?
I mean, not behind you. Behind the doorway.
It's
And then you guys are devoured. The guards are like,
the guards again. Damn it.
Ah!
They're back. That guy came back with his friends.
Exactly. Yeah, but she steps on out and she goes, of course. And let's see here. She kind of steps back on out for a second. And she goes, Lady Anika will see you. And she gestures and sort of parts the beads for you.
Well, we walk through.
Yeah, I'll walk through.
Step on through, yeah.
Nice. That was quick.
Yeah, lady.
Right.
A lady in the house.
Yeah. You guys go ahead and walk on in, and who you see sitting there. Whenever you enter the room, it's a fairly nice room. There's a window kind of in the back that of which is letting light come in, but the light is fairly sort of shuttered right now, as there's this sort of wooden frame that the slats are barely creaked so that beams of light are coming in, but not too much. There are a couple of lamps that are lit around the room. On the floor itself is a large red carpet, and scattered along in various locations throughout the room there are these big pillows that of which exist that look like they're more for decoration than actual function. Sitting in the center of the room, you can see that there are a couple of chairs waiting for you, and then there's a very, very large chair sort of towards the back behind this incredibly big onyx desk, and there you can see a half-elf woman. She let me pull her up here. Okay. She has similar to what you saw earlier. She has a sort of blonde hair. Oh no, I'm sorry, I changed that. She has black hair. So forget all that. No, but she has black hair, but the sides of it have been shaved, whereas the top and back have grown very, very long. It's tied back into a braid. And you can see that she's wearing various leathers about her, not like traveling clothes, but sort of like leathers. Like, I don't know if any of you are wearing leathers, but leather sort of armaments that you can see that have a bit of wear to them, as though they're something that of which she probably has had for some time. But they also have this capacity that it's not quite perfectly fitting, and it's sort of a little bit ill-fitting. So, like, for example, the leather skirt, right, that these armors come with is like a little shorter than need be, and things of that nature. You can see that she's got somewhat pointed ears that are kind of elven descent, but she clearly is not elven herself. She's half elf, is your most likely suspicion. And she kind of is leaning back in her large chair with her boots up on the onyx desk. And she kind of looks at you. Well, it looks like the desert has fresh meat for the grind.
Milo
Right.
nods.
Yes, I guess you could say that. Greetings, Lady Anika. The name is Quixote. And I look at the others.
I'm Faldir Evram. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Shirasa.
Milo.
A crackling voice emanates through everyone's mind. I am. And you see the Thri-Kreen quickly look around, and he spots a pillow over in the corner. He says, "Pillow," and just leaves it at that.
Yes.
All right.
So, have you been doing that kind of thing this whole time, like that we've known each other? Just curious. Like, is this standard behavior?
I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, because
every time my
Thri-Kreen-
name is asked, it's something different
Thri-Kreen
because
should-
I'm.
Yeah, well, first of all, just to start, just to remind everybody, Thri-Kreen can't super speak common very well because they
Yeah.
don't have, lips and stuff.
Or a tongue?
Right, they have a lot of problems. So generally speaking, they have to speak to you through this sort of psychic wave. But yeah,
Yeah, I have up to 100 feet of telepathy skills.
Gotcha.
Cool.
But like naming yourself after random objects, that's been a thing.
Yeah, that's my mystic thing
Gotcha.
that I got his new name every day, and I figured I'd have fun with it.
Nice.
Great. I like it.
I say, so, Lady Anika, I came in on a caravan led by a man by the name of Gronsfin. And he worked for House Anika, and, well, I made a stop in Altaruk, found some fellow like-minded people, and decided to see if the house itself was looking for anyone for any jobs or work. Preferably in the slaughtering kind.
I'm sorry. Who did you say you traveled with?
Oh, dwarf. By the name of Gronsfin.
Kronzva. Well, I'm impressed you made it back alive. That old fool doesn't know what he's doing.
Oh, we traveled on the People's Road for close on 2 weeks. First, we were set upon by Terex, and then a band of halflings wielding spears gave us quite a fright. Killed more than half of our caravan, actually. It's a surprise I made it here.
Sounds terrifying. So, you're looking for a job?
Yes.
Well, I'm afraid we don't have much. We don't have too many caravans going out right now. Gronsfear is heading to Balak, but I think he's probably left by now. Well, we do have a bit of a problem that has run into recently.
And what would
Alright.
that be?
Well, as your friend may tell you, we were sending some supplies here and there to Balak. Place has a penchant for cola nuts, it seems. Whenever one of our caravans has run into some trouble, and we're getting reports that more might come.
What kind of trouble?
Silt runners.
I see.
Yes, I know.
Silk runners.
Okay,
Bad business.
Common issue on the road.
go ahead and roll me. So I will say that, yeah, automatically, Shirasa, you know what these are, but everyone else can go ahead and roll me a. I'm gonna say history or. Nah, I'm gonna say history or nature. I'll be nice. I'll say history or nature.
I'm gonna take 0 on this one.
Okay. Right. Right.
Yes.
Faldir,
Start.
Bugman, and Shrasa, keep your headset on. Everybody else take them off.
I totally act like I know what they're
Okay.
what they are.
Yeah, but you
You have a completely different idea of what it is. Yep.
So yeah, so you guys know that these sort of Silt Runners are, interestingly enough, they are the symbol of House Mavir, right? You see the blue flag with the lizard running over it. That's a Silt Runner. Silt Runners are these these sort of live lizards that grow to about 5 feet tall or so, and they have the name because silt is something that you cannot actually walk upon, right? It's too unstable to walk upon it. You would basically be consumed by it in a capacity. And of course, Shrasa, as you come from Balak, which is along the Silt Sea, the fork-tongued estuary, you know that people have to travel through effectively sort of ships across the Silt Sea. But Silt Runners, they are these sort of strange lizardmen who are almost goblin pirates in a capacity, right? They're these sort of smaller kind of barbaric entities that of which will have rough sort of ships or whatever that they kind of travel on, but whenever they attack you, they'll actually run across the silt itself to get onto your vessel, whatever it may be. Any questions?
They're like basilisks, like real basilisks. They're lizards that can run on water.
Yes.
Fun fact. Anyway.
All right. Whatever, nerd. All right. So she tells you, we have a bit of a silt runner problem.
See. Do you know where they're coming from or what area we need to go to potentially try and put a stop to it?
She says, well, obviously, it's on the way to Balak. The estuary of the Fort Tongue. They seem to be careening that deeper than they usually do, and have been harassing caravans that move along the trade road. Now, this isn't normally a problem, but recently a fairly sizable shipment of some cola nuts and other assortments we were hoping to take at least to Balak got intercepted and lost. Our understanding is it didn't even make it to Letopolis.
So it'd be fairly close by then?
Define close by.
Do we need to get on a caravan in order to be able to get there, or can we make it on our own?
Well, you brave souls, I'm sure you could do just fine by yourself. I will
Do
tell
I know
you,
how far away that is off the top of my head, or
Ledopolis?
Yeah.
You don't, but
I think I should.
Shrasha, you would know. So I'll go ahead and tell you how far Ledopolis is. Alright, that was a failed whisper, but that's fine.
Yep.
I kill all your characters.
everyone
Yeah.
except for her.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nailed it.
She's the only one that gets to know.
Ledopolis is pretty close to Gotham, I think.
Yes.
I see.
Right
Right across the lake.
She says, now we have heard that it didn't make it as far as Grax Pool, but after somewhere on the trade road between Grax Pool and Ledopolis, it was lost.
Right. Well,
So are you wanting us to go retrieve this, or just to put a stop to the Silt Runners?
I would like it retrieved. Of course, both would be pleasurable. She kind of gives a wry smile.
We can look to my companions, but kind of shrug. This is within our expertise. If there is anything to be recovered, we will find it. What does this job pay?
Depends on what you bring back. If you're able to find the goods, a chest, she nods, about half the size of this table. Bring it to... We have a small outpost in Ledopolis. If you're able to do that, come back with word that, of course, you completed the task. I will pay you gladly. She kind of strokes her chin for a moment, thinking, I think 750 ceramics sounds fair.
Is that each?
She looks at you and she says, oh.
Only joking, miss.
Milo crosses his arms. What of the Silt Runners? Is there a bounty per head?
She pauses for a moment and she says, because I'm curious to see what you'll bring back, I will give you 2 ceramic pieces for every tongue.
tongues are easy to transport. That's amenable. Right. Well, we'll go look into that then.
Hey, well, what about if we return with any of your living tradesmen who were part of the caravan? Any price for them?
She nods and she says, if they're willing to pay you, of course.
Fair enough. Are any of our expenses paid on the way?
do we get a per diem, or is it like? do we?
We also get paid for travel time. Yep.
Do you need receipts?
She furrows her brow.
Mileage.
She furrows her brow. No. That's... She says, she kind of reaches out her hand and goes, now shush. And she gestures over to the rest of the group. The adults are talking.
Well, we appreciate this, and we will do our best to bring back your chest. Thank you very much for your time.
I always appreciate a lady who looks after my chest.
But
I couldn't resist. Alright.
I set it up for you. You're good.
Alright. Take care. Or don't.
I turn around and walk out.
Yep.
yeah, I'll head out too.
I'll give her a floor.
Like, and then I walk away.
I
You scowl.
I lagged out, so I heard none of that, which is probably the
Okay, it was all hilarious,
Yeah,
very
you should laugh.
character-specific exits, basically.
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I'm sure it was Santan.
Yeah, so Silt Runners, right? Not that bad. Piece of cake.
Yeah, they're not too bad.
Shouldn't be much trouble for us.
Alright. I mean, bugs, right? I mean, what could bugs do?
Not quite. It was close. It was a close guess.
The Thrive
Yeah.
Queen glares at you.
Everyone knows that.
Oh, sorry, no offense.
I believe there's scaly lizards.
Lizard folk.
Dennis, is there a way to message back to you?
If you type /whisper or /w in space, if you just type capital D, you'll find me. But if you want, you can type out Desert Master, as is my official title. So I put on my
Wait, are they actually? Were they actually lizards?
That's what I put on my CV.
Did Milo guess it?
Everyone's acting like you're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes.
Lizards.
They are
Yeah.
lizards.
Should
They are
be.
lizards, actually. I
bugs,
forgot
pretty
that you weren't
close.
in the know.
There should not be a problem.
Well, you don't know. You think he is in the know. You think he probably
Yeah,
knows.
no, my character doesn't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Folk, really.
This Quixote, am I right? What a...
Alright.
Doesn't even
Yes,
know what
Rod.
silt runners are.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Lots of weird things out in the desert. Hard to tell.
So, should we be worried? You know, get a bag of crickets? I don't know. What do lizards eat?
Oh, I was like, bag of
They're
crickets.
They're
We wish to keep them as pets. We could
You
take
need a
slaves.
giant glass terrarium. No,
Yeah, I love that. Day one. Let's get some slaves, guys. Let's.
Fuck it. Let's
Yeah,
enslave
We're
some
starting
lizard
to build our
Good
empire day
characters.
one.
Day one. It's.
We'll
yeah,
level up through
does
trading
bringing the
instead
tongue
of killing
back
stuff.
count if we also bring the whole animal with it?
I mean, you think probably, but I would just. It doesn't. You think it probably doesn't bode well for the lizard friends you bring back.
I mean, we don't need them for their banter. So.
You guys make friends with all of them and bribe them for their tongues.
Yeah.
Natural 20 on persuasion. Bam.
That's right.
Cut out your tongue and
Yeah,
get
this is.
We give
This
them.
is
We give
yes.
them each
This is
one.
3-5. You seduce the dragon, of course.
We give them each one ceramic piece for their tongue, and we make a net profit.
Exactly.
Yeah,
of
exactly.
one. Yeah. We set up a thriving business then.
Absolutely.
Lizard tongue.
Just lizard tongue import export.
All right.
Alright.
Well, Lady Anika didn't know of any caravans heading that way, but do we want to try and find out if there's one we can tag along with?
Hey, what are you talking here?
Well, Ladopolis is probably about 10 days away.
Quite a journey.
Which I feel like is something we should probably get a caravan for.
I would think so too. I'm not entirely sure about all of you, but I don't know if we necessarily have enough money for 10 days of travel. Much less, braving the desert sands.
True.
Now, is that 10 days by foot?
The sense of telepathy goes over you guys and says, "Caravan preferred."
Hello,
I agree
friends.
too.
We should seek out companions for travel. Water is expensive.
Well, should we head back down where we were this morning? There seemed to be a lot of visitors and bustle down there. Maybe we could pick up a caravan down there.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah.
Right. I start waddling in that direction.
Waddling?
Literally waddling. Yes.
Perfect. Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
I'll head that way too.
Sure.
Here we are.
Yeah, so I'll tell you guys that as you guys kind of bounce around for a bit trying to find what is this? I just got a fucking paragraph.
I'm just letting you know what my psychic focus currently is.
Listen, you can tell me about it when it's relevant. Listen, I got enough shit to worry about. So how am I gonna deal with the fact that this whole city's a mouth? You know, that's what's important. That's what I need to focus on. So you guys make your way into the area, and you start to kind of try and ask around to see what's going on, talking to various people and things of that nature. Go ahead and give me some charisma checks. Whoever's doing this. Disadvantage for any bugs.
That's racist.
No, that's real.
I know it is, but it's still.
Well, it's more speciesist, and they're creeped the shit out whenever a weird bug talks to their mind.
That's fair. We've had bad
Especially-
experiences with that in the past, I imagine.
Especially a bug named Pillow.
Yeah.
I am Pillow.
God, you guys.
Yes,
Okay, so so you guys basically come up empty, except for
I rolled it.
except for
Okay.
Jesus. Keep your panties on, boy. All right.
No.
So basically, you guys have come up mostly empty, except for Feldir. Feldir, you're the only one that is successfully like socialized with someone in a reasonable capacity. Zihote, you get caught up and you get really enthralled in some story someone's telling you about their journey. Nameless people are just like really creeped out by you. Seems to be the case. And Shirasa, you try to talk to people, but they just seem way too busy, and you can't quite get into the conversation.
I just end up patting an animal in one of the stables.
Right, sure. And Milo, you find yourself talking to all the wrong people. Like, you just approach the people you think are in charge, but they are not.
Good tries.
However, Faldir, you're able to glean a little bit of information, which is that largely right now no caravans seem to be going out. You're able to get some degree of information going. Sorry. You're able to get some degree of information going. You're able to find out that there's not a lot of caravans going out right now. You have heard it told that there's a plan that, like, sort of through rumor and stuff, this. So I'll just go ahead and whisper it to you.
Alright. I'll gather the party back up.
Yeah, it's a couple hours go by as you guys struggle.
Alright. As I imagine the rest of you also heard, there aren't really any caravans going out right now to Ladopolis.
That's what my contacts informed me of as
Yep.
well. Yes.
Definitely heard that.
So I did, however, hear a rumor that House Revere is going to be sending some people out that way in about 4 days. So if we wanted to wait for a little while, then we could head out and hitchhike off that caravan.
Very good. Perhaps we could see if another house has opportunities of employment in the meantime.
That sounds like a good plan.
Yep.
Yeah, I will just tell you guys, pro tip, there are multiple things you guys can go do. Don't be like, well, we found one, that's it, that's what we do, that's our job now.
We wait for 4 days and we do that. Yep.
Again,
Yep, we just wait.
which I make fun of, but like, so I will present them to you, but you guys gotta go find them a little bit. And I say this because I played in games where it's like you get a job and that's the one job, and you have to go do that job. So I want you guys to know that you can turn down jobs if you're like, man, that's not nearly enough money. Let's not do that. Whatever the case may be, and go find another job. Right. So it's viable, and I will, I will give you something, hopefully. Though, of course, there may come a time when you just need to, but you think day one, that's probably not how the game starts.
Alright, well, one of us should probably go to House Revere right now, or we all could go to House Revere right now and see if we can get on that caravan and see if they have any work while we're there. That's probably a good
Sounds
plan
good.
of action at this point.
Very well.
Sure.
Okay, so is that what you guys do?
Yeah.
Okay, you
I was
gotta
really
say it. Don't
really
just
excited.
agree and then be like, okay, like you need to say, okay, so we do
You
that.
were typing. We assumed that you
No.
Yeah.
we were gonna wait for you to
No, I'm
finish what you were
I'm
doing.
dealing with a bunch of nonsense right now. But yeah, so if you guys make your way over to House Revere, it's no problem. You guys, in a similar capacity, right? You basically make a loop around the city itself, and you finally make your way to the sort of central area, and basically the palace itself. I don't have it as well done here, but basically there's an area before you actually get to the actual palace itself, and that's where House Revere's merchant hall is. So it's not actually within the palace itself, but the palace is called the Waverian Palace, as you're understanding. Anyway, the House Revere has a very fine palace, but you notice that it's actually probably the smallest of the ones that you've seen as far as merchant houses go. Its merchant halls go. It seems to be the smallest one. It's not as adorned with quite as many flags as you saw previously with House Anika. This one seems to be a little bit more Spartan-like in that regard, and has a couple more windows around the sides of it and stuff. But it does have equal amounts of security that you see posted as well. And these guys seem to be almost alongside the town guard, though they are distinctly dressed in a way that separates them from them.
All right. Walk on in.
Yep.
You know the drill now.
They stop you. No. That doesn't happen. Yeah, so you walk on past. There's actually like a pair of moles who are standing there on guard, but you guys wander on in, and there's nothing that particularly stops you as you enter into this lovely place. And this one's an area that's a little bit more open. There's windows that of which are placed more thoroughly throughout the trade hall itself. As you enter in, the first area is this large area that is much more sizable than the previous foyer. This one has a couple of people sort of gathered around talking to each other. You can see a pair of men sort of trying to make a deal of some capacity. While they're men, you assume guys who look like they're working fellas, if you will, little scars on their hands and things of that nature, calluses on their hands and things of that nature, are sort of chatting to the side. They're sitting around these tables that of which are positioned, discussing various things. But in the same way, you do see that there's a sort of front desk. Here you can see that there's a man with dark skin and long black hair, performing a similar job to the woman you saw earlier.
Excuse me, sir. I've been hearing rumors around town that you guys might be sending a caravan out in the next few days. We were wondering if you had any use for some wastewalkers as guards or any other capacity.
Oh, one second. And he starts fiddling through the various scrolls and stuff that he has piled up around. He seems to be not quite as organized. He seems to be a little bit messier, and he's unrolling various things and things of this nature. Trying to go. One moment, please. Okay.
Take your time. It's fine.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't know if the caravan's going to need any guard. But if you're interested, Mr. Greer is available.
Available to speak to, or just
To speak to. Of course, he's okay. Around back. Please, follow me.
All right.
He stands up, a slender man who's wearing like, you think like this is like this is equivalent of like a business suit, which is also the nicest thing he owns, right? A pair of simple robes that of which have a bit of red and blue around them, but it definitely has a worn look to it, but not like as in he's been doing heavy labor, more as in this is just sort of a little bit old. Please, come this way. He takes you down a hallway this time that's a little bit more winding in some capacity before leading you to this sort of back room, and he knocks on the door, and you guys hear something from the other side that sounds almost like a whisper, And he goes, of course. And he opens the door. There are waste walkers here to see you. Again, another whisper, and he gestures towards you guys to come on in.
All right. Calling ourselves Waste Walkers now. I like it.
Well, you know that's a term that's like adventurer in Dark Sun. It's not a particularly weird thing. But yeah, so you guys go ahead, enter on in, and here you can see a small room, smaller than the previous one. This one is built almost like a more modern office in that it's just very, very simple. You can see that there's a large stone desk in front of you, with a couple of chairs positioned in front of it. It's not nearly as ornate and ordained with various things as the previous room was. Here, you can see that there's not much on the walls itself except for a single flag, that of which is of House Revere. And sitting behind the desk, you see this very, very scrawny man. Interestingly enough, this fella, come here, is also half elf, and he is much slimmer even than the man that you saw earlier. This guy is very, very spindly. He has this sort of very unkempt, long blonde hair, and he's sitting on a chair with his knees up to his chest, kind of hunched over. And next to the desk itself, you can see that there's this very, very large sort of pillow, borderline mattress, where a massive Jakar is like lying on its back with its tongue kind of lolling out. Fairly obese, and it's breathing heavily. You can hear. The man kind of turns and sort of looks at you all sideways. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
We heard you were sending out a caravan soon, and we were wondering if you needed workers or guards or anything for it.
No, they have enough. We have enough. We made sure that they had enough. I know this. I did the math. I'm sure.
All right. You don't need any help whatsoever on the caravan?
Not with the caravan, no. Not with the caravan. The caravan's fine. I'm sure of that. The caravan's fine. I know this.
Do you need help with anything else?
He nods. Yes.
And what would that be?
We were having a transport. He says, a beast for the gladiator rings. Got loose on its way here. Want it back. Good profit in that. There's a lot of profit in that. It's worth it. It's worth it. I know it's worth it.
What beast?
A dune freak, they call it.
Do you know where we might go looking for it?
He says, it was lost in the Alluvian Waste.
Do I know how far away that is?
Yeah, where's the Alluvian Waste?
Well, the Alluvian Waste is just north. It's right outside, basically.
Oh shit! That's like right there. That's fine.
Yeah, but it's like fucking huge, right? It's like
Yeah, it's not a small area.
It's just the Alluvian Waste. It's like right there.
well,
Let's
it's
find
like
it, no
saying
problem.
you lost it in Massachusetts. It's like, okay,
We just
Yeah, it's fucking.
we'll just
you
step
know,
outside and start yelling "Dune Freak" until eventually it comes and finds us.
You go to
Yeah,
Amherst,
Dune
it's
freak,
gonna be
Dune
there.
freak, Dune freak.
mhm.
Yeah, it's fine.
Right?
What should we know about this Dune Freak? Has it got a name?
Oh.
Maybe we can call it out.
Have a-
Jeffrey.
Does it have a No, it doesn't have a name. It doesn't have a name. Why would it have a name? This one's a fool. This one's a fool. I see this. I see this now.
do I know what the hell a dude is?
Yeah, I
Do
was
any
about
of
to
us?
ask if we could do a check to see what it is.
I will say you guys will have the same roll. but not history. Only nature, except for Milo. Milo, you do know because you were a gladiator and you've seen such a critter.
Sure.
Yeah, you fuckers got no idea so far.
Nope. It's a thing.
All right, Milo. Everybody except for Milo, go ahead and take your headset off for a second. Let me see here. So a Dune Freak is something else that is called an as far as you know, let me double check this, correct? Yes. Is called an Anacor. They're these really bulky, big. They're probably maybe about 7 or 8 feet tall. Covered in like a hard shell along their back and spines, but it's not really a shell. It's almost like it's almost like lizard scales to capacity, but they're fused together on its back to form a type of shell. They have long claws, a narrow snout with strange teeth, and sort of white eyes, along with claws on their feet as well. They have grayish black skin. You know that they tend to burrow. Is a real problem. Whenever people are trying to keep them, it's difficult. It's difficult in order to keep them sort of contained sometimes, unless you have like some sort of barring on the ground where you're keeping them, because they'll burrow into it. Right. Okay. They're nasty things to fight. You know, some of the tougher gladiators can fight them in single combat. You think that they vary in size. But from the ones you've seen, you think it's not implausible that. So I will tell you, basically, a Dune Freak, the ones that you generally see will be probably a challenge level 2.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So that's what this guy tells you.
All right. Well, I guess there's no harm in going out and having a look and seeing if we can find it.
Wait a minute. We don't even know what a Dune Freak is. What is a Dune Freak, anyway?
Look
Yes,
at
a fool.
Valtier. I
Definitely a
don't
fool.
even know what a Dune Freak is either. They are called Anacor. They're large beasts, long claws, good fighters, like to dig.
Right.
Aggressive or no?
The ones I've seen were in a pit against typically Mul to fight. They seemed fairly aggressive.
Do you think we can even track one? I'm sure the waste is probably full of them, right? I mean, how will we know to look for this specific one, unless it's not full of them?
Yes.
I guess.
Certainly a fool. Certainly a fool.
Hey, I'm just asking valid questions here.
These are for fighting. If you bring back a different one, then bring back a different one.
Fair enough.
The real question here is, how do we subdue it and not kill it? That's my issue here, I think.
That sounds like your job. Yes.
Oh yeah, I wasn't asking you actually, but thank you for the
Then you may leave.
consideration. I do
Thank you.
appreciate it. Yep.
Have you done the math on what the job would cost? You do pay us.
I see. This one has a smart tongue. I see. Well, I would say. Let's see here. If you do this, fights in the arena, draws a crowd. Assuming that the gladiator does not kill it. The gladiator does kill it. I would say that 700 ceramic pieces is fair. I would have said 750.
But
Why would you not say 750? I like this number more.
Because you are a fool. And you are rude.
I did apologize for what I said.
Not you. the mo.
Okay, well, 700 it is then, I guess.
If it is larger, I will give you 750.
I didn't actually hear what you said there.
If it is larger, I will give you 750.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We'll see if we can find a larger one then. Larger than the size that we don't know, but we'll try.
Yeah.
Certainly try.
Milo's kind of like,
So, I'm just gonna walk out.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I wait-
Yeah,
we'll
me
go
too.
leave.
You guys are killing
Once Milo walks out, I'm gonna ask him. I say, "So you fought one of these things before or something?"
something like that. I've encountered them before. In the arena.
Do you think we could track it? Does anybody even know how to track?
I never had to track one in the arena. So
I can track.
Thrycreen here can.
it's good, Pillow. That's good.
Well, that's a good sign. All right.
Well, it.
The
They are.
Thrycreen makes kind of like a. He tries to form like a footprint with his hands because doesn't know the word for it, and says, "Need this first."
I have no idea what you're doing there.
Yeah, can you show us, Mike? Like, what is it?
What is your...
What does it look like
what your
trying
hands
to-
look like?
He
Like-
he instead points down at his claws and says, "These."
Oh, I think he's
We need-
trying to say we need to see what its prints may look like. Right? Is that it?
He starts nodding a lot more.
Okay.
Is it? What time of day is it now? Now that we've done all this running around,
You
it's
guys
probably
are-
getting into evening.
Yeah, we're probably getting into around, I'll say about 4 o'clock.
I don't know, guys. I'm not really keen on the idea of looking for a dude freak out in the middle of the waste. Especially something we never fought before, and we don't even know what the
As
hell it looks
opposed
like.
to all the other things you fought.
All the other things.
That's
Well,
true too, but
Please
Hey,
tell me.
he fought half elf or halflings, so we know that. Like, we got a few things. Yeah, the Yanakor are formidable opponents.
well, and then Faldir did bring up a good point. How do we even subdue the thing to bring it back?
If you stab a man here, he will bleed but not die.
It's good to know about a. It's good to know about a man,
Plan.
but this is not a man, so the anatomy is probably different. I do like your line of thinking, though. It's you're trying. It's good. Gold star.
Can I roll for condescension detection or something?
If you want to roll for insight, you can. I won't stop you.
Oh, Milo
I was
does
just-
bring this.
Thank you.
Does bring up a good point, though. Maybe we could beat it into submission.
Yeah, if we knock it unconscious, we could probably bring it back. Although I still am
Alright,
a
how-
little bit fuzzy on how exactly we're going to carry something that big into
that-
the city.
Yeah. If we knock it unconscious, we are not big enough to drag it, I don't think.
But on the other hand, we also don't really have any other game right now. I mean, we could wait 4 days for the other caravan, or we can attempt to do. Actually, we don't even know that we're going to be able to get on that caravan. Never mind.
Well, we got
Pretty
4 days, right? I mean, maybe we could just keep looking for work and maybe find something more local and inside town.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Just gonna
fast you guys think I spawn quests, but
More!
I think
We're gonna hit every NPC.
Instead of RNG,
we're
it's
going to talk to
RQG.
literally everyone in this city.
That's-
I hope
Yeah,
you're
we're gonna get
prepared.
every
The first
goddamn-
5 sessions
Fine.
is just looking for quests.
listen, that's
Yeah.
The first
we're gonna-
person we talk to
listen,
kills all.
no
of us. That's
problem.
what happens.
you guys gotta start spending money to eat though. That's what I know. Ceramics don't grow on trees. That's for real. That's definitely true. Money,
No,
it's
you
more
make them
debatable.
out of clay.
Yeah, good luck. Go for it. Get you some water and some clay.
I have proficiency in a forgery kit, but anyway.
Absolutely.
Tell you what, we probably don't want to go out at night because it's going to be way more dangerous out there. I say we take a night, sleep on it, kind of try and come up with a plan of some sort, and then we go out looking tomorrow. Maybe we find it. Maybe we find something else.
All right. Well, I like
Sounds
the
good to
plan.
me.
Sounds good. So, where are we sleeping?
It's a square question.
Where did we sleep last night? Since we've all been teamed up for at least a day, you said.
On the ground.
Nice.
We all have
yeah.
a point of stuff.
Sounds
Great.
good.
Okay.
You're fucking tired. I mean, where would you
See
sleep?
where do we have inns?
Where would one sleep?
Well, there's a bunch over in the
It's-
arena
it-
district. So if you go over here,
Where could one sleep in the city for free?
ooh, yeah, that's definitely the ground then, for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
I like that. That's where I've been.
you guys are, just immediately like, I don't want to spend money.
My guy doesn't even need sleep, honestly.
Yeah, but he needs a place to rest.
He just awkwardly stands around
Um,
for 8 hours.
I'm
Oh,
just
pillow.
watching everyone sleep for the next 8 hours.
So what are the names of the taverns here? Like,
there's
I see all the names of these things, but I'm having a rough time determining what is a tavern and what is something else.
There are a lot of them. So, all right, let me try and start naming you some.
We'll go with the lower quality ones, like maybe ones that are cheaper.
Okay. So we're gonna go over here. All right. That's a different
Let
part
me go
of
to the
town.
shit list of
Yeah,
taverns.
so
I have them ranked.
I do, to a degree. Though they're in shittier parts of town, more or less. Let's see here. Nope, that's too nice for you.
Yeah,
That's a comment. Is that a
I
comment?
feel like we're gonna hear a lot of that.
yeah. I get that a lot.
The Roamer's Rest isn't bad. That's one place that you could definitely try to stay.
That's too good then if it's not bad.
All right. If you want bad, we're probably gonna be looking at let's see here. I would say Porter's Reason is actually pretty crummy. If you want to go
Like
there.
that.
If that
Let's do it.
if that's
Sounds good
Yeah.
to me.
if that's more of your preference.
Absolutely.
So where even is that? I know it's here.
It's up north of the
Yep.
stables and stockyards.
It's basically just the stable still.
It's
Yeah.
more stables. Ah, yes, that's right. Yeah, Porter's Reason's a shithole. Absolutely. So, and this is a place where like a lot of people were like caravan guards and stuff will stay. Definitely like a place that's not, not super nice. It's a place where a lot of sort of at night you'll see like various people come on by as evening falls and I misclick. But you'll see a lot of people come on by this area who are like working men, people who are the guards and things like that. It's a large clay building. It's sort of light colored, the building itself, but sort of with sort of clay that's kind of been inlaid into the building. You can see that it's got some words on it. Those you would guess if you can't read, and those of you who can read know that it says Porter's Reason. They're a pair of let's see here. Inside you find a lot of mercenaries and guards. Inside it's very kind of dirty. It's obviously a dirt floor and things of that nature. The tables that of which exist are beaten up and usually have like chunks of them missing, probably from bar fights and things of this nature. They're
Got character.
yeah. Most of the tables are made of either bone of some dead creature or carapace, and all of them have phallic symbols etched in on them by the various patrons.
Of course.
And the reason that it's called the Porter's Reason, you guys know, is that there's a drink that's served here in a massive clay jar, known as Reasons. and it's pretty expensive, but it can keep it alone can keep a very hearty party of about 4 or so lubricated for the evening. You do know that every week on Lizard Man there's a drinking contest that of which is quite popular. There are a couple of working ladies there if you're interested, but they kind of don't respect you unless you have a couple scars.
How you doing?
Yeah, so basically, the only person that anyone talks to is in fact like earnestly, that's probably the case. Is that the only person that any of these working ladies would even be tempted to sort of take your ceramics would in fact be your resident mull.
Just my inherent charm.
Basically.
So when you say very expensive for that, for the reasons.
Yeah, it costs, let me double check here.
I mean, if it's over 1 ceramic, I'm basically.
It's over
out,
1 ceramic, yeah.
Okay, I'm out. Too rich for my blood.
I'm going to walk over to the tavern keeper.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, so
hello.
the tavern keeper is this fella known as Cress. He's in Aarakocra. He's got a lean, muscular build. There's a lot of kind of stories you've heard probably about how he actually came to own this bar, and none of them really reflect him in a positive light.
Good.
He's got some markings on his arms and stuff where feathers have been literally plucked away and a tattoo has been put on there, that of which is of some sort of mercenary company.
Wait, feathers are rare and this dude's covered in them? Fuck it, we're gonna kill him and take all the feathers and sell them.
Yeah.
We're now traveling quill merchants.
Well, okay, so a
Sorry,
quill
joking.
a quill is fundamentally of a different kind of feather, that of which is hollow, and of which is a proper size that can be writ with effectively. If it's too large, it doesn't work, and if it's too small, it's brittle and it will snap immediately. So it's actually to have a quill that's functional is more rare than just feathers in general. Otherwise, you
don't know any of that.
We stop some educated people and tell them that they're quills. They wouldn't know.
You guys just murder a bunch of Aarakocra and just have bags full.
Yeah, there's lots of feathers.
You all play Aarakocra now, and whenever one of you die, you just pluck them and.
Yeah,
Just
right.
every session, we just sacrifice a member, and he becomes the product for that game.
He.
But anyway,
You see that he carries a widow's knife on his hip, and he sees you kind of approach him.
excuse me, sir. My friends and I were looking for a room for the evening, and I was wondering if you had any available rooms. Rather.
He nods. Yeah, we got a couple.
How much?
How nice a room you want?
Middle ground.
The executive estate.
Yeah. We'll take the best you got. No.
Mm-hmm.
Affordable, preferably.
He nods.
Hey.
He says, "The barracks special." And he says,
Sounds promising.
"Staying for the night?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
8 bits each."
All right. I was wondering if I offered to entertain the guests here this evening.
We got enough horse.
Well, now. Oh,
Not
all right.
entertainment.
I try really hard not to laugh super loud right behind him. I'm just like snorting into my hand.
You may got horrors, but I don't see any music.
It's hard to see music.
You're just not using the right eye.
This guy's
friend.
got the burn.
He,
Jesus.
he looks
Holy
over.
shit.
He looks over back at Faldir. That one's a fool, I see.
Damn it.
This bird is spitting fire. Milo's backing off.
Nothing, sir.
Yeah, he's kind of a gruff guy who definitely, you know, he a lot of bartenders, you see that they probably got the job or own the bar because they're like good at business and they're amicable. You think this guy must have taken a different route?
Yeah, he stabbed someone. That's how he got the bar.
with his wit.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right through your wits. Through the neck.
And on that note,
Yeah.
you do notice he does have a whatchamacallit? Is it a widow's knife? What's it called?
Yeah, you already told me
Yeah.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got one of those on his hip.
Yeah, he stabbed someone, clearly, but that's fine. I'm not that kind of entertainment, sir. I'm a storyteller.
He nods.
But if you're not interested, that's fine. I was just figured I'd offer.
He kind of tilts his head and he says, story, huh? He says, you go tell him in a corner over there. You do well. Get tips. You can use that. Good enough. Kind of moves his head a little bit. We can talk more on longer term.
All right.
And would you mind any music being played? I do have an instrument here.
He just kind of looks at you, and then he turns and looks over at Faldir. Can the fool play?
Yes, he can. I have no idea, actually, but I'll say that he can.
Roll.
I've never heard him play.
Roll a deception. He nods and he says, you play for tips.
Sounds good to me.
He nods.
Okay. I'm going to go over into a corner and begin telling the tale of Jim, the dwarven bricklayer, and his misadventures.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
I'll listen to his story for a
Yeah,
little
I
bit,
go over
and
and
then
talk to him.
Yeah,
You know what? I kind of wanna. So what's the
I
story?
kind of like play one or two notes, like just to accompany the music, and then like try to come up with a very subtle theme that goes along with his story.
You see, my friends, Jim was a dwarven bricklayer who one day decided he was going to become a waste walker. He gathered a party of other similar-minded people and went out into the deserts. They were set upon by a group of silt walkers, and unfortunately were all slain, except for Jim, who then returned to become a dwarven bricklayer later in his life, having learned his lesson.
Roll me a performance check.
Sure.
You know, you would think I would be proficient in that, but I sure ain't.
Okay. So
We're rusty.
There's-
We're a little rusty.
there's a burly human who kind of stops and listens to your story for a moment. He kind of grabs he's actually got himself a reason, right? And he takes a long draw of it while you're telling the story, and he kind of nods and he goes, "That's some pussy shit." And he walks off.
Nice.
Listen, you guys went to the shitty bar, all right?
Yeah, no, that's fair.
This is what's at.
And we also rolled shitty,
Yeah.
so you know.
you know, this is what happens.
Convenient. Worth trying.
Hey,
So are you guys?
musical stars weren't made overnight, right?
You have no idea.
True.
Yeah, I don't know how stars work. All right. So while those two are
Trying.
making tips,
just
Certainly trying.
doing their best.
yeah,
Yep.
right, adventuring in a different way. What did the other three of you do?
I'm just listening, like totally enraptured by this totally shitty story.
Okay.
Yeah, Milo's just. Milo hasn't
just
heard
like,
a lot of
wow.
stories. Man, I wish I were a brick.
Yeah, probably. It sounds nice, honestly. It sounds way better than the jobs you've had up to this point.
That sounds fucking dope.
Like that's actually what I emphasize in the story is his job as a bricklayer instead of the adventurer.
Yeah.
Like that's why
Yeah.
that's why I rolled so bad. Is like I was going. in
The
different-
adventure
It
is
just sounds great.
really brushed over, and it's
And like in Milo's head, he's like, you know, I'd love to get together with my friends and just like play a game where we could pretend to be bricklayers and get away from this life of adventuring.
he,
Just you
Yeah.
know, like some escapism.
right. Well, to you, it sounds like a dope job. Like it's secure. Like it's like, and it sounds like really like intellectual, right?
Yeah.
You gotta get the bricks. You gotta count them. You gotta organize them and lay them all out.
Yeah.
It sounds
They
intense.
don't lay themselves down.
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
there's-
Like this is.
You have
It's like you're watching an episode of Sherlock. Is what it feels like
Yeah,
to
like man.
to Milo.
Whoa.
Yeah.
All the montages.
In your head, there's a
Sure.
montage where the bricklayers like got all these numbers around them,
Yeah, just.
but they're not even real numbers, but they're what you think numbers probably look like.
Yeah, there's little squiggles. Each one's just different sized bricks.
Yeah.
They're physical representations. Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. And what does our Thrycreen do? He chitters in a corner. Is that?
Would I be able to look over my navigator's tools and see if I can like find out any maps of the wilderness where we might find any of the dune walkers?
No. Because navigator's tools help you navigate. They help you figure out where you're going and your direction and things of that nature. Actual
Okay, so it's
maps
not like
are
map
things you have to
kit or
purchase.
anything?
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, I would just sit with everyone else and watch what was going on.
I love the idea.
Pretend like I
You
have
guys
friends.
are all gathered around, hearing an awful.
No one else is
No
here.
one else. Well, other people are there. They just don't give a shit about this event that's going on. There's you guys gathered around. Yeah, exactly. Sort of a story time kind of situation. Behind you, there's a bunch of drunken men swearing and being very vulgar. A fist fight breaks out, rolling around behind you guys.
And we're oblivious to
I'm
Exactly.
like,
Exactly.
telling a
Nearly
story.
completed the wall. Be quiet.
Well, there's sort of like a montage of a group of guys walking in, and then like as the next scene transitions, they're drunker, and then the next scene transitions, they're fighting, and the next scene transition, they're being thrown out,
And we're still just.
and then the next scene transition, they get back in and are all passed out on the tables around you guys, except for one of them who's like unconscious, drool trickling out of the side of his chin, and he's got a bone dagger and is carving a large cock into the side of the table.
What sort of mortar did Jim have to use for that task?
Exactly. So yeah, do you guys eat?
I
I
mean,
don't-
Do we have to?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say you take a point of exhaustion if you don't.
yeah, we eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Like, so how well are you guys gonna eat tonight?
Whatever the minimum
Satisfactorily?
snacking is.
Whatever the minimum.
I mean, we got a busy day tomorrow. I don't want to be weighed down.
Ah, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to keep trim.
Yeah, I gotta watch my figure.
While we're starving.
right.
Yes, exactly.
Beat
That's
bod
right.
here.
Well, yeah. Listen,
Yeah, I've been doing CrossFit lately, so
I really want to know what a mole's version of CrossFit is.
it's just beating the shit out of another mole. That's all it is.
Pretty much. It's lifting a dune freak into the air repeatedly.
yeah,
Yeah, but in a gym with a bunch of other moles.
Right.
that's right. And really, really loudly and obnoxiously.
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
I want that as my ringtone.
That's definitely one way to go.
Weird, but sure.
It's definitely one way to go. I'm not gonna tell you how to live your life.
Appreciate it.
So I'll say, let's see here. What do you guys want to eat? Something delicious, I'm sure. I'll say, let's see here. What would they have here? They definitely don't have any of that. Are you guys? Let me ask you. Are you guys getting meat? Is the first question. Is meat gonna be consumed? They do offer, basically.
Can I get a menu?
Yeah.
They,
Garçon.
So you go and approach y'all's friend that y'all made, Cress. And he tells you.
Can we leave Quixote on the other side of the room so he doesn't sass us in the process of giving us the menu?
Hey, I don't want to be left out.
That's fine. It's fine. You can come over.
You guys can get so basically you guys can purchase some water first of all, which is going to cost you 2 bits for 1 person of water. Unless
How many bits are in a piece again?
10.
10. Okay. Shit. Okay.
If you want food, that of which is sufficient, I will say for 1 ceramic you can get some. No, I'm sorry. I misspoke. For 7 bits, you can get some Erdlu steak. Erdlu's the big weird bird. You can get some lizard steak as well for 5 bits if you prefer. And if you guys are feeling really ritzy, then there's this sort of almost like basically it's like the equivalent of like a salad, the Anaphasian salad, which is rot grubs, which is this sort of mass of these sort of grubs and these sort of that you can kind of get in this sort of bowl and kind of shovel in that have high protein and stuff. These are working men's meals.
And that's 5 bits?
That's 9 bits.
9 bits.
Yeah.
I'll have the lizard steak.
Same.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So a ceramic piece is 10 ceramic bits.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. I'm rolling though. Then yeah. Give me a lizard steak and some water.
Yeah.
I thought I had 10 bits. That was really sad.
You have 10 pieces? You're killing it. Okay, guys, if you guys can't afford food to leave town, you're gonna have a real problem. Y'all gonna need to sell some of your shit.
I was ready. I was ready to just like
Just walk outside.
like shit.
So
You get
anyway,
real
The rest
bad
of
real
the party.
fast. Yeah. Who's the smallest one?
So, you guys enjoy,
Technically, you, I think.
you guys enjoy a restful night's sleep. Here's a quiz. What day is it for everybody?
I have no idea.
Pixie.
That was yesterday.
The day after Pixie.
That's correct. What day is it of the?
Is it troll?
What day is it after the Cause let me find my shit. Okay. What day is it of the year?
Oh, I have that. Hold
Oh,
on.
here we go.
It is the 14th day of rest.
Congratulations. I'm very proud of you.
Assuming there are 14 days of rest. I don't actually
Yeah,
know how
that's
many
fair.
days
That's
there
a
are.
valid point.
Could
It's
be
just
the
normal
first
days.
day
They
of
just always say
summer, I
of
don't know.
rest.
So yeah, so that is correct. So let me see here.
What are the days of the week, though?
I will tell you.
It's like
Troll, kobold, pixie.
Lizard Man, Blumpkin.
No.
Flump.
Okay.
Blum
So
gets
today is
someone.
Goblin.
Yeah, Flump's one of them, right?
Goblin.
Yes. Um,
Oh, good old
the
flumps.
days of the week are
Yesterday was Pixie.
yes. Yesterday is Pixie. The days of the week are the first day of the week is Imp. And then it goes Troll, Pixie, Goblin, Gnome, Orc, Kobold, Ogre, Lizard Man.
Ah, man. TGIL.
Troll, Pixie, Goblin, Orc.
Gnome, Orc, Kobold.
I will say it again. Imp, Troll, Pixie, Goblin, Gnome, Orc,
Mhm.
Kobold, Ogre, Lizard Man.
Okay, thank you.
Neat.
9.
So yeah, so basically, there's a sort of a comet that of which rushes across the sky as you guys rest this evening. The 2 moons are full high in the sky as you guys sort of bed down for the night. You go into the room that you guys have, and it sucks. You guys, I feel you felt like you probably could have gotten a little bit better than what you received for your bits. There is effectively a square room with a mattress stuffed full of something, not feathers.
Something.
Rock rubs.
Yeah, well, it kind of has this crinkling noise, and you think it's sort of like you ever seen like a cicada shell after it's shed its?
Yep.
It's full of those basically.
I
Nice.
sleep on the floor.
Okay. That's fine.
So the steak and the water in the room, is it total 15 bits?
I don't know. I wasn't keeping track of what you guys were spending. I don't care what you guys are spending.
Yes.
15 bits sounds good.
It
I'll
is.
take that.
Ah, Jesus.
Cool.
Now I need to look at y'all's fucking shit. How much did I charge for the room? 8, right?
8 for the
you said-
room, 5 for the steak. I think 2 for the water.
Well, you guys got lizard steak, right? So
Yeah.
lizard is 6 bits and 2 bits for so 16. So lizard is 6 bits and it's 2 bits for lizard is 5 bits and it's 2 bits
I was
for
gonna say, you
water.
told us lizard was 5.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna haggle if you're going up to 6 now.
Yeah.
We're launching a haggling minigame.
If a bit breaks you, y'all are gonna have some trouble.
We're gonna have some trouble, I guarantee it. Oh dear. God damn it.
And now it's 6.
Yeah, now it's 7.
Okay. No, you can't haggle unless you have an actual conversation with the person. I don't just do the roll dice, make money.
I'm not
I know,
gonna
I was
talk
doing
to
it
this
as a
fucking-
joke anyway.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna talk to this.
So it was just 5 bits for the steak, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna do that then.
Good. Get you some
Yeah,
steak
since
and
I don't
some-
need a room, I just stay up all night.
You need a room. I demand that you need a room for the sake of long rest. You need somewhere comfortable in order for you to
I'll-
recover.
I mean, how big are these rooms? Like, how many?
Okay,
how
I
many,
can't even afford a room then.
How many bodies could you shove into a room?
How many bodies could you shove into? We're doing
Like-
this now.
Yeah,
Like, if
like,
you
can
had-
we share?
Like, if you had to fit a bunch of bodies into a room, which we do,
Y'all spent
many could you
way
fit
too
in
much of
there?
y'all's money. Okay, two bodies.
I'll buy a room for him. It's fine.
I'll say 2 bodies. I'll let you guys share, but it's not gonna be comfortable.
That's fine. Somehow I don't think life is comfortable, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
not
right,
great.
who's sharing with who?
I'll take the bug. It's fine.
It's it's fine. You know what? It's
his name.
fine.
Yeah.
I'll share with Milo.
Okay.
Is this no? You have this in have this in character. I want to hear this chat.
All right.
Like-
I imagine we're all like getting ready to pay for our
Yeah.
rooms.
Yeah, we're getting
he
ready to pay, and
realizes
then
he
we're
doesn't have
realizing
enough.
we're like,
Pillow.
ugh.
Okay.
Well, there's
so-
probably a sequence where Pillow pulls out his bits and just kind of looks at them and looks at you guys.
No money, sir.
Okay.
So Milo and I can share. That's one room.
I'll get my own room. It's fine. I can afford it.
Okay. Yeah. We can just share a room. Pillow. It's fine.
So then it's 11 bits each tonight.
Okay, friend.
Absolutely. So you guys go ahead and spin that. Milo and Shirasa. Yeah, this little mattress is not made for a mole and a person. That's for sure.
Is it just a mattress on the ground?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna sleep under the mattress, and you can sleep on the mattress.
Okay, sounds good.
No, that doesn't happen.
Sounds like a plan.
Shit.
Listen, I like slapstick, but I'm drawing the line at this nonsense. You guys.
Milo suffocates underneath the mattress.
Yeah, he's-
Rip in peace, Milo.
you take his stuff and sell
Milo's-
it immediately.
Yeah, I'm used to floors and shit, so yeah, that's fine.
Right.
I was actually like,
No, you're.
if this had been much pricier, I was gonna go sleep in one of the stables. So this is good.
Yeah, that's free for sure.
I mean, it's probably cheaper than 8.
I get you make it sound like that's so much. 8 bits, holy cow.
Well, I mean, I thought it was 8.
Well,
Like, I
it's
didn't
only
understand the
four
difference between a
each.
piece and a bit.
all right, now we know.
And Milo doesn't really get it either. So
All right, absolutely. Okay, so you guys sleep, however, in your weird.
As Milo's breaking his pieces apart, he imagines them as little bricks.
yeah, one day.
So as you guys kind of bed down for the evening, do you sort of you guys have any sort of chat? Particularly those of you who are sharing rooms or anything along those lines. Now is a grand time for bonding if that's something that compels you. Or
I help Milo build a tiny brick wall out of pieces of bits.
Yeah, well, I think Milo would have taken his little bits and he
Yeah.
starts stacking them and goes, I like the story that Valdir told.
Yeah, it was a good story. A bricklayer sounds like a good job to have.
I haven't met a bricklayer.
I haven't either, but it sounds good.
I've seen many bricks. There were many slaves back in here who laid them,
I've
but-
seen many.
you don't know the places I've been.
I love it.
You don't know me.
Always,
I've
I never
seen
knew.
many bricks, my friend.
I never
Love
knew
it.
what went into putting them there to place it. It was not something I had to think of, but it could be a good life to lay the bricks and create, build things.
I like the idea
Perhaps
of
one day.
Milo, the absent. He doesn't want to be an adventurer.
Wants to lay bricks.
Just dreams of
Some
like.
of the many bricks.
I also like the idea that Milo, for the longest time, thought that buildings they were just there.
They just grew out of the ground.
Yeah, they're-
No,
It's like-
no, they were just always there. Like,
yeah,
like the sun. Like,
Nobody builds them.
Yeah.
They just exist naturally.
yeah. It just happens. Like, yeah, I've seen slaves moving big rocks to construct great tributaries to the Sorcerer King, but never the buildings and the walls they're just there. You could
I've
Great,
build some-
great tributary.
I've seen many bricks, but can throw down tributaries on a on a whim.
Tributary.
He's heard the word
As
said
in-
before. Though. He knows what
I
it
know, as in like pieces of a river, or.
the river.
Man.
is.
Okay, good. So yes. Well, I'm tired, so I'm going back to bed.
This was a good.
The intelligence.
I roll over.
Yeah,
On the mattress.
man. The intelligence in this room could probably light one Christmas light.
Milo stays up a little while longer to try and make like little tiny brick things, but it just winds up being a stack. He doesn't know what the shit he's doing.
Yeah,
Just
but he
goes,
probably feels pretty good about it, and like.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah,
I made this.
All right, so I would say go ahead and each of you go ahead and you two bonded. So we'll say
yeah.
go ahead and give you each a bonding point with with each other, right? Not with yourself. You don't bond with yourself. I mean, I do that sometimes, but not while playing D&D. Yep.
Not when you're sharing. Not when you're
That's
sharing a room.
Right, exactly. Now you're sharing a room. So yeah, so go ahead and you have one bonding point. So this is like your relationship level, if you will. So you got 1 point in it. Our Faldir and Pillow gonna have a chat. Some pillow talk,
Pillow talk.
as they say.
Talk. Saw that one coming my way.
Everyone's mind went there. I mean,
I've been running that through my head the whole time that conversation happened.
John's been
Like,
waiting. He's been like, come on, this is my moment.
Fucking
This is my moment.
That's right.
Next time. Well, I imagine that we step into the room, and I look at the fact that there's one mattress, and I look at him, I look at the mattress again, and I go, dibs.
The Thrycreen nods and just walks over to the corner and starts watching him. He doesn't really need sleep, and he figured that he would know that. But he just starts watching Faldir's movements and starts putting together little bits and pieces about his personality and everything.
I'm gonna, like, basically the whole time I'm getting ready to, like, go to bed, I'm just, like, not breaking eye contact. Like, I'm just, like, deeply disturbed by what's going on.
Well, yeah, there's this bug with dead eyes just watching you.
So Kafka-esque.
And you're pretty sure that yesterday when you met him, he gave you a different name.
So, hello, just curious, but, so do all of your people not have a name, or what's the story there?
The Thrycreen looks up a little bit and quickly returns the gaze and he's like, "Do not know. Only Thrycreen and I know me."
So where do you come from?
Forest.
Were you raised by anyone, or did you just kind of raise yourself?
Happened. Like the building.
Empty eggs. Wander desert.
So you've never really had a... Surely you've had a home or something before this point.
No.
How long ago was this?
2
Do
days
not
ago.
know. Many cycles.
That's pretty sad.
It is only thing known. Not sad, not happy. Is.
Right. Well then. I'm going to go to bed, so have a good night. Do you sleep, or do you just gonna do that this whole time?
This. This fine.
Jesus. He licks his lips? Is that what happens?
Wiggles his eyebrows a bit.
He doesn't have eyebrows.
Yeah, or lips. But
His antenna
Wiggles his
kind of
antenna.
twitch.
yeah.
Yep. Can you not?
Try.
Okay. Well, good night.
Yeah.
Good night.
So go ahead.
And there's a good 15-20 minutes of me sitting there awkwardly trying to fall asleep, knowing that these bug eyes are on me the whole time.
Every now and then you look over to see if it's still there, and you just
Yeah. It's a little bit it's a little bit closer each time.
I know each time.
You wake up in the morning and I'm just right there like... You have purty mouth.
But you guys do get 1 point of bonding. You know.
You look so peaceful when sleeping.
Nailed it.
There's a montage of just this night of like
The whole time. This is playing in the background.
It's just the motionless staring Thrycreen with like the flopping around body and bears.
Well, no, it's a scene where like there's a montage where we constantly see new scenes, but every time it's like you're in a different position, Faldir, trying to be more comfortable and trying not to look at the Thrycreen, and the Thrycreen is just motionless, just staring.
It hasn't moved the whole time.
Exactly. But the sun rises over the dunes, illuminating. You guys go ahead and wake on up.
Before we start day 2, can we take a brief interlude for a bathroom break?
Sure.
Okay, thanks,
We'll go ahead and
bye.
take a brief moment. That sounds fine.
I shall be back as well.
Absolutely. Okay. How's it going, everybody?
Doing good.
Good. Good. Let me do the thing.
Ready to hunt me down a dune freak.
Yeah. Sounds good. Sounds like a plan. I believe in you guys. You guys cannot afford anything in the world, apparently.
I mean, I had like 17 ceramic pieces going into this, so.
You're flush. That's good because you guys need to eat and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, I'm going to have to worry about having us consume other party members versus me spending my money. But you know.
Yeah. Well, that's. We'll
At the rate we're going, yeah.
we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Alright. Let me go take care of something real quickly. And I have a moment.
Yeah, I'm gonna be right back as well.
So now I have to write a bunch of stories.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't expecting. I was just gonna come up with really creative titles for all of them
No, but now you have to write the stories.
with my limited knowledge of Dark Sun.
Mhm. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Mhm. I think you should just write continuing sagas of Jim the Bricklayer.
You know, that is a thing I was considering. The Misadventures of Jim the Bricklayer. That is
Yeah.
a thing. I've got another one in the mix too.
And they're mostly stories of just like him laying brick and shit going down around him, but just
Like
the focus is on him. Like,
Yeah. He is the famous bricklayer that is in every war and in every
Yeah.
every battle.
it's like the Cabbage Man from Avatar.
Yeah,
Like-
exactly.
That is Jim.
My bricks. Because, like, I have bardic inspiration, so I have to be like, you know, remember Jim. Think of Jim to grant bardic inspiration in combat.
Nice.
So you've laid a foundation.
Yes.
Ah! The puns are too real.
That hurt my soul from over here.
Yeah. Psychic damage.
Shit, I didn't know you were back. Don't punish me.
No,
I got cookies and milk in my sock mug.
I always
Okay,
kill
now
my
I'm-
camera and then wait to see what everyone says whenever I leave. That's what I do.
Man, that guy's a dick.
Exactly. That's usually what I hear.
You say you have a sock monkey cup?
Yeah.
Sick.
Right? I went and got cookies and milk, and it was the only mug left, and I was like, well, this is what it is.
I mean, I would have picked that one if it wasn't the only one.
Yeah, see, I have a collection of, like, a bunch of really great mugs, so it's actually kind of hard to decide. But this is literally the only clean one left, so.
Thanks,
The only
Easy.
one I really have that I like has Shakespearean insults written all over it.
I have the exact same mug. I actually have the box for it still because it has them all written on that too.
Nice.
Got an Aperture Science mug though. I like that one too.
Well, that's a good choice.
I normally drink out of my Harry Dresden mug, but I didn't.
Do you? I see you drinking out of that Winter is Coming mug or whatever, the Stark mug.
Yeah, well, when I drink my tea though, I drink out of it's the mug that it's like white whenever it's filled with liquid, but it turns black whenever. I'll show you to you next time.
Sweet.
It had I went away to my sister's apartment this weekend for various reasons,
I remember that.
and I came back and that mug had fungus in it. I was like,
Free salad.
that's right.
Mike and Ed's man.
Okay, I have returned. So you guys wake up, feeling merry and bright, presumably, or at least not suffering from exhaustion.
Little stiff, but yeah.
It was a comfortable night.
Comfortable floor.
For some of you. But yeah, you guys go ahead and wake up. As you make your way downstairs, to the main dining area again, or the sort of main barroom area. There's very few people there, and those that are not happy to be there in the morning. They all seem to be gripping their heads in the sort of nature. one of them still has his head buried in a reason.
Same guy from last night.
They're all sort of lounging around. You see a couple of people wander down in pairs, a fella and a working girl, both of them frowny faced. In some capacity.
Both?
Yeah, both. It's been a rough night.
No one's happy.
Well, but they're frowning for different reasons. The fella has a really bad headache, and the lady, one of her dress robes has been ripped. She's very upset about that. Something along those lines.
Not the reasons I was expecting.
Well, I was coloring a light picture for you guys. I don't want it to get too grim. But you guys make your way down, and you see a sad group. So you guys are standing on the floor of this fine establishment.
Okay.
So how'd you all sleep?
Okay, I guess.
My bed was really crunchy.
Mine too.
As you say
I
that,
did not sleep.
Yes, he did not.
As you say that, the man who has his head in a reason, different guy than the one I was speaking of last night. Burly guy picks his head up. A little bit of the alcohol drips from his face, and he goes, "Ah, I'm not sleeping."
No, you are not.
Ah.
Not anymore, friend.
He kind of looks at you guys a little fuzzy. Friend, yes. I'm a friend to all. I'll tell you that.
And
I think you're muted, Aaron.
what do you mean by that exactly?
The name's Fennec. He says, he goes, I'm a bit of a gentleman around here, well known. Sure you've heard from these fine ladies. One of them kind of, he says, of Thanik Galathanu.
I don't
And what is it that you do?
understand.
Galathano.
I told you. I make friends. That's what I do.
Oh, so
And
one
that's
of the.
profitable in this city?
I'll kind of go. He's one of the boy whores.
The Thrycreen perks up as he hears this, and he's like, "Friend?"
He nods and he says,
And he telepathic commits that, or conveys that to the man as well.
Well, first he nods to Milo's comment and he goes, I've been called that before.
Good profession.
And then he looks at the Thrycreen and he, yeah, that's me, a friend of the people. I find that people need things done sometimes. And I find friends to do.
We do
That's interesting.
things.
We do things for people, actually.
He says, that's why I come here.
But not for free. Just want to make that point clear.
He nods, and then he looks over at let's see who spoke last, Faldir, and he says, "Oh, it's not too bright, huh?"
He is. You just have to get to know him better.
Of course, and I would love to. He says, I come here to find, as you say, doers of deeds, walkers of the waste, huh? Mercs and scoundrels, you know, people.
We're one of those. One of those things you just... Well, two now. Now with
We
that
do.
last statement. But yes.
We do things.
They're all one and the
What
same
things?
to me. And he kind of looks you up and down. what would you say it is that you tend to do?
We're waste walkers. Although we haven't done much lately, but
He nods and he says, "Cress, I'll take my usual breakfast." Cress snaps back and he says, "You haven't vomited yet. Soon." Anyway. No. So,
I just lean over to Pillow and, well, nameless, and I'm like, so what are you called today?
He looks around for a couple of seconds and then spots a mug and he goes, "Cup."
Good.
Better than dry vomit.
That's why I asked. That's why I asked
yeah.
before that happened.
Or some version of phallus, of course.
Dick. My name is Dick.
Anyway, he says, "Well, I think I could get a job for you." He says,
Yes.
"See, I work for the people, with the people. The nobles around here, they don't care, they don't help. But not me. I care. I help." He says, "There's a well east side of town. Got some kind of bug problem. Bugs die, get in the well, it's all a mess." He says, they're looking to get some kind of poison. Something you can smear along the sides of the walls, not dangerous to people, but will kill bugs.
I was getting ready to say that. That sounds like a horrible idea, but...
You guys interrupt NPCs a lot, I see.
Glaring.
I
poisoned the watering hole.
Right. There's a snake in my boots. Anyway.
Is there a place to buy the poison in town, or do we need to go somewhere else to get it?
If I needed to buy it, I wouldn't need waste walkers now, would I? Ah! There's the rub. He says... Out in the wastes, in some places, you can find a little kind of shrub. Grows some little berries, you know? That's what I need.
Am I familiar with that?
I'll say
Shrub with berries.
Since you have knowledge of that, you know basically what he's talking about. There's something that's called a bitter fruit. It grows off of a form of a cactus. It's not like a blue barrel or something. It's sort of like prickly pear kind of thing. And it has these little white. They're called berries, but they're closer to nuts. And when you grind them up, there's something that can be used for like sometimes people will like smear them on their body or something if they're like going into an area where there's like high bugs, like, you know, that might, like, the equivalent of mosquitoes, right? That might come after them or something. But it's also something that
Giant.
you can. Yes.
So it's not toxic. To
Giant
Thrycreen or
psychic
anything?
man-eating mosquitoes, I imagine. Seeing as this is Dark Sun.
Yeah, you don't know how not toxic it is to Thrycreen.
Yeah, I was gonna. Does he just like really not like it?
You don't know how.
Or will it just murder him going near it?
You don't really know. You don't really have a lot of experience with Thrycreen.
Okay, so in my head, I just look over at. So when you said your new name, did you project that to everyone, or is that?
Yeah, I projected it to everyone.
So I look over at Cup and I just kind of quirk an eyebrow, and then I look back over, and I like the gears turn in my head for a second, but I don't actually say anything yet.
No gears turn.
Would I be able to do a nature check? I don't have any experience on that.
You can roll me. Are you proficient in nature?
Yeah.
You can roll me a nature check. Nope.
Looks like I'm eating toxic fruit.
Yep.
Well, I won't let you eat it. I
Okay,
just
we'll
don't
test it on
want
you
you to
first.
necessarily. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. If it gives you a rash, then you probably won't want to eat that.
Do the scratch
All right.
test or whatever.
All right. Where can we find such? Just in general out there? Is there a specific place where they grow more frequently, or?
He goes, "Well, you know me. I got a lot of
I don't.
friends." You will. What? And he grabs his reason and pulls it over. Nope, not yet. He goes, "Well, if you travel along the Great Road, heading towards Silverhands, not Silverhands, Silver Spring. Sometimes you can find growing on the road. Sometimes you might have to leave a little bit, but I believe I've heard it rumored that there's a spot a little ways from here." He kind of thinks for a moment and says, "Maybe 3 days out. You leave the road. Maybe a day, half day's travel. You can find a little patch of growing."
All right. Well, will you be here for us to return said berries when we find them, or do we need to turn them in somewhere else?
He says, "You go ahead and you bring them to me. I'll hand them to my employer, and then my employer will make sure that the wells are still usable." So what say?
Well, since
Are we friends?
the question hasn't been asked yet, how much are you paying for this job?
He says, fair enough.
Told you he was a smart once you got to know him.
I don't know if asking how much you get paid for a job is that huge of a feat, but hey, clearly I misjudged you, friend. My apologies. And he says, we're looking at, we have to count journey. I think that 600 ceramic pieces should do you just fine.
Sounds like a deal to me.
Shall return with your plant. Fix the well.
He nods. And the people will have their water. At this
Very
point,
good.
You see Cress shows up with like this really foul smelling kind of stew. That has a sort of hint of something strange in it, and you think it's something that probably involves like Erdlu eggs, and it has this really sort of pungent, sort of almost sulfurous smell. And he goes, "Thank you," and he just releases, and then Crest just goes, "There it is," and walks off.
Probably leave. Probably go.
Yeah.
He picks his head up, wipes his nose. If you'll excuse me, I have breakfast.
Hey, Faldir, maybe we should go check out this well before we head off and find these plants.
That's probably not a bad idea. Just take a look, see what's going on. And then we should also gather some supplies before we go out. He said it was 3 days travel, so we'll need 6 days worth of supplies there and back.
Should
Are we? Did we walk out of the tavern, or are we still standing right there?
Let's be walking out of the tavern because it's gross.
Okay.
Yep.
Once we get outside, I'm like, I'm skeptical of putting poison around a well.
So
He says he's a friend to all, but that doesn't feel right.
with my knowledge of the berries in that bush, do I know if it's harmful to people?
Yeah, you know it's not.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
It's not poisonous to people. It is only poisonous to insects and insect-like creatures.
Now Milo gets it and quickly looks at Cup, kind of concerned.
That's a good question, and I was going to ask that, in a more prevalent time. But as long as he doesn't eat it, put it on him, get stabbed with something coated in it, I'm pretty sure he's probably fine. Probably.
Pretty sure he's probably fine.
Pretty sure. Pretty sure, probably, yes.
Mostly sure.
85% sure.
I'm willing to risk his life, is what I'm.
Yeah, let's
We're all
roll
going out of
those
the desert,
dice.
all of our lives getting risked.
That's right.
All right,
What makes him so special?
all right. So let's check this well, and we'll need several days of supply. I might suggest more than 6 days worth. Don't
It's
know what
probably
will
not a
happen.
bad idea. It could take us longer.
Yeah.
We'll get stranded without water or food.
You guys
No.
step outside, into the sun, bearing down on you guys. The sand whips around you guys, and a gentle breeze kind of rolls through. It feels like sort of like a blow dryer on your face. It's very warm. You can see the city is waking up, and people are beginning to move around a little bit. You guys are in a lovely part of town. The smell of the local stables and such fills your nostrils, as it could be more pleasant. And you see a couple people staggering out of the bar as this happens.
All right. Should we split up, you think, to conserve time and have a group of us go get the supplies and another group go check out the well?
Sure.
Yes.
Well, I have no
Yes.
problem with that.
Yes.
All right.
I go to well.
Sounds like a plan. Who else is going to go to the well? I think I should probably go shop for supplies, as I am maybe the most personal person here.
Well,
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just assuming that if all of our abilities with people were to be expressed in numbers,
Mm-hmm.
mine is probably the highest.
I will say that of the interactions you guys have been having with people, which have been going 10 out of 10 awesome, you feel like you've done a little better than like Creepy Bug and
The cup.
and Cup, named Cup or whatever, and the rest of your crew seems to struggle similarly in social situations.
All right. Do I know roughly like how much a day's worth of supplies would cost? Assuming I don't fail miserably on a persuade check and get overcharged.
Your understanding, is that like 1 day's cost, including water, is somewhere in the realm of about 1 ceramic piece per person per day.
Okay.
Okay.
So how many days worth of supplies do we want to get?
Well, let's see. It takes 3.5 days to get to this patch of trees, right? This patch of plants, but we don't even know exactly where they are. So
You gave us a
accounting
pretty
for
accurate description. Is off the road.
I think to be on the safe side, maybe 10 days.
He said it's about
That's
he said it's about a half a day or maybe more off the road.
Gotcha.
perhaps we should ask Lord Ovir to do the math for us.
Maybe don't. Maybe don't do that. Maybe don't phrase it, can you do the math, when you go to do that as well. I mean, maybe you do want to do that. I'm not the boss of you, but it did not go well last time.
That is true.
Well, my best guess is about 10 days should do it.
Alright,
Hopefully.
so that would be 10 ceramic pieces for each of us.
I think 8 days. Because
could
I have
just-
8 ceramic pieces.
Tell you what, we'll split the difference and we'll go 9. I will pay your extra ceramic piece, and that's fine. Can everyone else afford that? I know that
Yeah.
Cup probably can't. Do we have... Here's a better idea. Let's just pool all of our ceramic pieces, see how much we have, and see if we can afford 9 days before we... I have got 15 pieces.
Cup reaches into a small pouch at his side and pulls out 5 dusty ceramic pieces.
I have 2 hands with no thumbs. I put down 8 pieces.
I got a pretty big pouch. I got 28 here.
Oh wow.
And you guys were throwing
Yeah.
shit fits about, like,
I was.
how much money is this? A bit!
I mean, to be fair, it was,
Yeah.
you know. You-
Shrasa?
I think I have like 23 at this point.
Okay.
Not for
I also got plenty of food on me. I got enough for 14 days. I don't have any extra water.
I have no
to
water,
drink.
but 5 days for food.
So how much is supplies for a day if you already have the food? How much is just water?
I mean, it depends, obviously, but, like, you know, your rough guess is maybe 5 bits, or maybe more, maybe less for a rank.
Okay. All right. So, how about we split the cost of cup between the 3 of us who have money still, so that each of us pays 3 ceramic pieces for him, and then I'll pay for myself, and I'll pay the extra ceramic piece that Milo needs. Is that amenable?
I would like to pay for a day for cup as well.
All right.
Then I would have to pay 2 for you, and that make sure. No, you know what? Fine, it's fine. It's fine. I'll pay 1 less. It's okay.
Clap on the shoulder awkwardly.
Once again, you see gears turning in my head, but I don't voice any opinions that I have out loud.
Let's see. 5 of us are spending 9 ceramic pieces each. So that's about 45, right?
Yeah. So
Throw in an extra 3 for you, me, and Sharasa here.
Mhm.
So that's 12 from each of us. And then an extra 1 from our good friend Milo.
exactly.
All right, 12. Got it.
Okay.
I take out 12 and I give them to Faldir.
Okay.
Should we pool the food we have? Should we combine it as well and see?
We don't need to do that just yet. When we get out into the desert, if someone needs food, we can help with that.
Very well. I would recommend more water than food for the travel.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Shrasa?
That's fine. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do math and it's hurting my brain.
Understand.
Okay.
Very well. So your cup is to the well, and Valdir to shop.
Who else?
I'll go to the well. I don't mind. Actually, you know what? I'll go with Faldir. Why not?
Damn it! I was gonna take all of your money. Damn it.
Leave.
If they were sending me to the shops, I was absolutely gonna make that joke. I just leave.
As soon as we start walking, we turn back to go. Oh, by the way, we just do. Just to finish, looking over his shoulder.
Listen, communism is the best economic system in the world when you're on top. So, who wants to go first on their merry little adventure?
I'll go first.
Okay. So where do you head off to?
We'll go get water first.
Cool. Where would you like to go to acquire such a magnificent device?
I do see a house of blessed waters on the map.
That sounds expensive.
Is there a house of dirty waters? Is there like a muddy water?
Is there a house of okay water?
Like radiated
yeah.
water. Like,
Yeah, exactly. I'll take some.
Yeah,
rats,
it's
save some pennies.
It's like it's Fallout. All right. Is there a toilet that I can acquire some of that water?
But I do
try
also
and pull-
see a Barca's Food and a Food Emporium on the south side.
Yeah, actually, let's start with one of the food places. They might sell water there too. We'll go to the Food Emporium. Let me just go over to this toilet and try and pick up the ammo out of it. Oh shit, I drank! Every time in Fallout. Every single time.
That's a bad issue. But yeah, you can totally go forth and do exactly that. So you guys go to Food Emporium. It's a lovely place. Is that what it's called?
Was that sarcasm or was that? It's actually.
I mean, it's all right. Yeah.
Better or worse than the tavern we just stayed at?
It is better than the tavern you stayed at.
Okay, that's good.
But
It's good.
It it could be nicer. As you guys arrive, the Food Emporium is like, it's not impressive. It's little more than just like a converted warehouse, right? There's mostly is this piles of these barrels and well, not really barrels. There's these clay jars, these massive entities that of which are sort of positioned around. As you can see, kind of in the back, there do seem to be more expensive items. But like the area is fairly closed off, and there's a good deal of guards here. But these are official guards of the city itself. And inside, the foods are kind of spread out in a sort of bazaar, kind of almost like grocery store kind of way, and that they're sort of like, you'll see a bunch of jars that will be full of something, and then a small like almost display, right, of one open jar with the things kind of spread around it, or a box,
Gotcha.
as the case may be. Occasionally you do see that there's like people who come by with like a jar that of which are dressed similarly to Shirasa, with these robes that are these almost white, these sort of light blue robes, and you see one of them. He takes like there's a small clay sort of staff that he sticks into the jar, and he seems to sprinkle certain areas with water that of which have like you see like there's some like fruits and stuff that probably don't want to dehydrate in the hot sun.
Gotcha. Well,
So where do you suppose we start?
well, I think we should get a variety of things. To be honest with you, I have no idea what our compatriots eat, and I probably should have asked that before I came here.
Well, it looks like everybody eats meat.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
far, you know, everyone likes lizard meat. That's what I've got.
I just buy shit tons of lizard meat.
Yeah,
you
just
know.
how much lizard meat you got? I'll take the whole thing.
I'll
Well,
take the lizard.
It's got to be some sort of proprietor, right? So maybe ask around.
Yeah. Do we see
Look for somebody
like,
that works here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I see someone with a name tag and a vest that like
Yeah.
looks like
Yeah, and they're no help.
I see their soulless eyes as they look upon me and realize that their dreams have been crushed. But yes,
But you do ask one of the guards, and they direct you. You see there's they direct you over towards a dwarven woman, who seems to be having a chat with somebody. You see her. She's wearing these sort of this sort of long flowing dress, that's like been rolled up a little bit so that like it doesn't drag on the ground. It's it's got a sort of grayish color to it with speckles around like the shoulders and stuff of these little yellow sort of golden kind of dots around it. It looks, you know, pretty nice for Dark Sun, more or less. She's got this elaborate braids in her hair that kind of curve into these loops and stuff. She's got sort of an auburn hair color. And she's currently talking to somebody, and she sort of turns away to them and kind of talking something about like this sort of cactus fruit that she's discussing before she turns over. Do you guys approach her?
Yeah.
You were told that her name is Miss Woodcarver. Anyway, so the dwarven woman is, she's wandering around, kind of checking on the products and stuff.
Excuse me, ma'am. Miss Woodcarver?
Oh my, hi, how's it going? Yeah, you're a little surprised by her sudden
sure am.
her sudden turn there. But yeah, so and you see that now as she's talking, she's got like a piece of like some sort of sap or something in her mouth that she's like perpetually chewing.
Okay.
It's going pretty well. How are you?
Oh, it's going really good. Business is doing great. I mean, like we have been crazy busy lately. With all the caravans that have been coming through. I mean, it was just 2 weeks ago. You should have seen everybody that came in with the Vordon crew. Wow, like amazing. Anyway, how can I help you?
Well, we're looking to purchase some supplies for a venture into the desert.
Oh, wow, that's so exciting. All right, yeah, okay.
I stab her in the throat. No.
All right, you are immediately butchered by guards, and then they put your meat on display.
Yeah, worth it, absolutely.
And then they put your meat on display.
Yep.
Someone comes by and drops a little water on it.
We need enough goods for 5 adults, including a Thrycreen for 10 days.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, 9 days. I'm sorry
9
about that.
days. All right.
It's okay.
All right. Of course. So what are you guys looking for? Are you going to be looking for like some dried meats? Are you looking for something a little more plant based? You know, maybe something with a little touch of psionics. Like what is it that you're interested in, huh?
A balanced and nutritious diet.
Oh, honey, Will, you have come to the right place. Wow.
I stabbed myself in the throat.
All right. Got one. All right.
Didn't take long.
We need enough water too for the travel.
Oh, okay. So you're looking to buy some rank. Well, we have a great rank supplier in town. It's really been treating us quite well. They're grown on Mechalot, fresh right here, and I think you're gonna find that they're
free range.
A really high product. No, they're not free range. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to have that sort of thing around here. But you know, we certainly do our best, and we make sure that they are well taken care of course.
All right.
It's got to be light enough for us to carry.
Oh,
too.
I assure you, I have dealt with many travelers just like you guys, and we can definitely take care of this. Okay. All right. So, and she leads you over to some sort of dried areas. There's a couple of like dried, like sort of like cactus basically and things like that. And she says, "Okay, so, if we're just looking at the various meats and things of this nature, we've got some really nice Onyx meat, if that's something that you'd be into. I don't know. It's really low fat content." A very lean creature, and I think that it's really healthy if that's something that you're interested in.
I just look at Faldir. I shrug.
I shrug right back.
I guess. NX meat sounds fine.
Okay, and 9 days worth, is it?
How expensive is that?
Oh well, it's because it's such a high protein concentration meat. It's a little bit more expensive. That's going to be for 1 day's worth. You're looking at about 2 ceramic pieces.
Oh, so maybe we should
let's think of something.
Tell us our budget, and then you just like kind of fit what we want in the budget. Is that possible?
Okay, sure, of course. Why don't you go ahead and let me know what you're interested in?
So do you sell rank as well, or do we need to go somewhere else for rank?
I said, I have some rank here in town. We've got a great rank supplier, that of which connects to us. You know, we're able to make sure that we sort of comb out anything that might have contaminated water or anything along those lines, so that, you know, nobody wants any tummy problems while they're on the journey.
Okay. Is there any possible way that for I should have written down how much gold that you all just gave me.
I just
12
put it
each,
in my
right?
pockets.
Roughly,
I don't
pretty
know.
much, yeah.
Yeah, we need to spend 45.
However much I want.
Yep. There it is, right. 45. So, for 45 ceramic pieces, is it even possible for us to get 9 days worth of food for 5 people?
9 days worth of food for 5 people. That is possible, of course. And will you be including the rink in this as well?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, all right. So 45 for 9 days. Let's see here.
She pulls up a computer screen and
No, she just kind of looks around for a moment and she goes, there's quite a couple of options here. How do you feel about... I assume rock grubs probably wouldn't be something that you would care for. Cank globules, doable.
Ooh.
Has some interesting. Yes, I think that can do just fine. And okay. Well, for 9 days, and how many of you are there? Can you say?
5.
Okay. With the water as well. She looks around and she says, well, I think we could easily do with a couple of silt serpent meat. Now it's gonna be some of the lesser cuts, but I think that we could put that together with some silt serpent meat. Would that be okay?
Yeah, sounds delicious.
Okay.
Sure.
So she brings you over to an area where there's these long sort of strands of these silt serpent meat, right? These sort of water snakes looking things is what you'd guess. And then you go past that and you keep going down and there's a little bit like not as nice. They're kind of butchered and beat up a little bit and these sort of things. And then you go past that and that's not quite as nice. And then you continue to walk on by and there's sort of like a dark kind of shadowy area in the back. Some cobwebs growing over it.
And we are butchered. Yes, gotcha. Okay.
No. What instead happens, she goes, okay, right here we can go ahead and you can go ahead and take some of that. And she goes ahead and she immediately like begins to work very quickly. And she goes, okay, will that do it for you?
Yes, that'd be it.
And this is all okay for Thrycreen too, right?
I don't know. We don't service a lot of Thrycreen here, unfortunately.
I'm sure he'll be fine.
I hope so.
If not, he'll eat one of you. That's fine. Anyway. Looking over the food, does it look like enough for 5 people for 9 days? Like,
yeah, it looks like she's not trying to screw you with the amount.
Just checking.
And it also just looking at it, like you get the feeling with the certainty that she pulled all this shit out that she knows exactly what she's doing.
Okay, good. Okay, I hand over the 45 ceramic pieces.
All right, thank you very much. Please do come again. And if there's anything you need, we'll gladly take care of you, of course.
Yes. Slowly
All right.
back out of
Pleasure
the
to meet
store.
you. Well, that went a lot smoother than I thought, but we didn't really haggle for anything.
Yeah, well, I don't think it would have gone very well. She seemed to be very experienced in this.
I hope this is enough.
I think it is. She
Looking
seemed
bags.
unusually on the up and up. Yeah, as we're both carrying these massive bags of food.
I guess we never really talked about where to meet them back up, so probably to the well.
Yeah, we'll head to the well and see if we can find them there.
So where are you from anyway?
I'm from up. Is Rom up north? I don't even know actually. I haven't looked at the. Okay, yeah, I'm from up north, quite a distance.
Where'd you
So
learn to tell them stories?
Ah, yes. Up there. It's not really the entirety of my craft, but where did you learn to play that instrument? I always wondered about picking up an instrument myself, but
Oh, I grew up in a village named Alador, out in Gulg. There was a tavern there named the Desert Rose, led by Bard.
oh,
Learned
interesting.
how to play from her.
Interesting.
So first time out of the village, actually.
Ah, yes. I do, and I mean no offense by this. You do seem a little green.
Well, pretty young. Don't let the voice fool you.
I'm
Quite
actually
all right,
16.
Oh wow.
Puberty hit me real hard. hard.
Like a sack of bricks.
Right, all right. You stick by us, and we'll keep you safe.
Alright. So I'll say, we'll slowly kind of pan away after that charming interaction. To who would like to go next in our roaring adventure?
I mean, we're on
the
our way
rest of
to
them are
/
together.
at the well, aren't we?
Yeah, we're all going as
Yeah.
a group as well.
Yeah.
The remainder.
Yeah. So your general understanding of where this well actually is it's basically right by the House of Blessed Waters.
Mhm.
Or it could be within the House of Blessed Waters. You're not 100% sure. You just know that he said east.
East. Always to the east. All right.
Which is kind of like
Always east.
So, you guys sort of wander through this this area, and this is a little bit more almost like kind of residential. There's an Alterac infirmary there, that of which is not particularly busy right now, as there's a couple people there from a caravan that came in. But like there's not a whole lot going on, as there hasn't been any major raids or anything like that. So there's a couple of people that you can see mulling in and out, but it's not like hugely busy in this area. There are quite a few houses where people live and stuff. And you can see the well is kind of in this area open, but there's definitely guards posted at it, as there are by all wells. And you can see the House of Blessed Waters kind of off to the side there. I will tell you, the House of Blessed Waters is pretty large. It's this sort of building with this large dome roof that's rather sort of elegant looking, and it's got on the outside of it this must be very expensive blue paint in the shape of teardrops along every wall. And yeah, that's what you can see from the outside of it. And occasionally you might see somebody wearing robes, white. Almost, but more really just a light blue color.
So I mean,
Okay.
we're here to look at the well. So shall we go look at the well?
Yeah, you said there are guards posted around it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I go up to one of the guards. I'm like, "Do you mind if we just have a look?
I
Not
just-
gonna drink or touch. Just look."
Milo just walks past the guards, thinking that that's what you do with guards. Just walk past them.
Right. They just say make sure we can see your hands.
And walk over to the well and look in it. And Milo, are you standing there?
Yeah, I'm standing
So
there
we're
looking
both-
at the well.
So do we see anything? Because in my head, we're both just like, it's a well.
This was a good choice. I'm glad we went this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a well. It's
Okay,
dark
so
down
we
there.
don't see any bugs.
None that you readily see.
I
Okay.
use my keen ears to see if I hear little bugs.
You don't.
Shit.
So it's a well.
Yep.
All
There-
right.
There's no signs of bugs like crawling around anywhere that we can see.
None that you can see now.
All right.
All right.
Uh,
Well,
uh,
Okay.
Cup.
I
Cup.
just-
Cup. Is there anything you can
can
see?
you like commune with the bugs?
Racist.
That's racist.
Would I be?
Like,
Would I be able
hashtag
to
not all bugs.
Don't
telepathically
listen.
connect-
Not all bugs know each other. All right.
Not all bugs.
Just because they look alike doesn't mean they're the same person.
Hashtag not all
It
bugs.
kind of might. It might be a hive mind. You don't know.
I want a t-shirt now.
Would I be able to telepathically like contact or sense anything that's inside the well? Because I'm able to do that within 100 feet, depending on how deep it is.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You think that you can try, for sure.
Okay. What would you want me to roll for that?
You try and don't.
Okay. I'm gonna relay this back to the group. No bugs sensed here.
See, he could try and commune with the bugs. All right. Well.
So she's only correct. So is that?
He kind of looks quizzically and doesn't really understand it.
It's okay, Cup. Don't worry about it, dude. And so I just turn away from the well and walk back over into the square, or whatever that little like open area, not between a bunch of guards is. And I look at Milo and Cup and I say, "Well, it's a well, so should we find our friends or?" Yeah.
Cup walks over to one of the guards really quick and says, "Bug problems recently?"
He kind of is not happy with this situation.
Not happy.
Like,
Got to have some
He was
fun.
happy. He's not happy now.
yeah. Well, like, imagine
Why-
this.
honest.
Imagine, if you will, for a moment, you're a human guarding a well, and then a giant bug walks up to you and says, "Bug problems?" Psychically. That's a little uncomfortable. He says, "Listen, friend. Take a step back. No need for
He
us to
takes
have a
steps
problem
back
here."
and puts up all four of his arms.
Does he just flop on the ground, or?
He doesn't.
I'm
He's
just
got.
trying to-
He's got 6.
I don't know which appendages are what.
I have 6 limbs, 2 are legs and a 4.
He's an insect. You guys have been being really derogatory to him.
Milo
yeah.
just flings all of his limbs up and just face plants.
I'm just like a dog. I go into like just the flop position. I'm like, I'm not doing anything. So he doesn't answer the question past that.
I'll step up and I'll go, no, at the well, bugs getting into the well, contaminating the water. We heard
Yeah.
maybe there was.
Heard there was something going over in the main, and he points over to the large dome over to your side.
Yeah, the main, right. Yeah.
What?
Good work.
Doing what you're doing.
You guys are
What is
killing
the
it.
main? Do I know what that is?
The Temple of Blessed
Was
Waters?
that supposed to make sense and I've just missed something, or?
Well, there's probably like a main well that of which like
Okay.
provides water for the city.
Okay.
Um,
And he pointed in the direction of a dome,
well, he
Which I
pointed
am-
in the direction of
which
the
I think
large
he was
dome.
implying that the well is
Yes,
within or near.
yes,
something.
inside the
Okay.
Temple of Blessed Waters.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Guys, it's
I'm caught up now. We're good.
over there.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, do this.
Yes.
Right. Do the thing.
Yep.
Are you coming with us, Cup, or are you still flopped in the middle of the square?
I wasn't flopped. I just started following along with you guys.
Come on, Cup.
Okay, so we go up to the house temple of Blessed Waters. Is there like a door? Is it like Pantheon style?
It's an open door, basically. And here you do see that there are guards posted here, but also on every corner, you can see that there are people dressed similarly to you, in these blue light blue robes, and they just kind of have their hands folded as they're watching. You can see some people are getting out water and handing it to others who go carry it off in these large jars in various capacities.
Okay.
Milo just walk into the door. just
Yeah,
run
I
around.
also just walk in. So do we see more people inside? What does it look like inside?
As you go inside, it's got a fairly sort of open air kind of thing. As on every side of the temple itself, there is a large archway that is just open, and so light comes through, and you can see similarly, like whenever you look up at the actual sort of roof of it, there's actually like this very sort of elaborate mosaic, that of which seems to exist. That of which has this sort of rushing river that seems to encompass all of the dome. And like I said, you know, there are people who are like acquiring water in certain capacities if they can, and there's, you know, everybody, right, from the highest high to the lowest low, people gather here to get water, and there seems to be a couple clerics that are there. Particularly, there are 2 that seem to be tending it. There's another one who seems to be sort of walking around, and she seems to be, and he seems to be like directing people who are getting these big jars that are full of the water from the well and transporting it to various places.
Okay.
He's just to take.
Yeah, I go up to one of the clerics and I say, "Hi, we had heard from someone in an inn we stayed in last night that there's potentially a problem with the water, not necessarily with the water here, but that there's been some bugs or something, and we're trying to help find a solution."
This is just somebody who's helping. You're just talking to them.
One of the water clerics, yeah.
They say, "Oh, yeah. Well, we're trying to work to sort of maintain it right now. We've had to go through some filtration processes, as there's some sort of bugs that seem to have they've been drawn to the moisture underground, and they seem to be living within the well itself. And obviously, when they die, it contaminates some of the water. So we've had to do quite a bit of filtration and boiling the water and things of this nature, in order to try and keep it drinkable. But as of now, we're doing the best we can."
I don't know what else to ask.
Sick, bro.
I just look at Milo.
We had
like,
a fantastic plan.
Cup kind of walks over and is like, "What kind of bug?"
They're
Why is it always the bug asking about bugs? It's gonna be hella awkward for them. Right?
Yeah. Kind of pulls back a little bit. A little strange way to greet people. But says, "Oh yeah, well, it's some sort of dune mite, is my understanding. That seems to have found its way to the water source."
And have you seen them, or like has someone else seen them? Are there any dead that have been like collected that we could see, maybe?
What is your fascination with bugs?
We are.
Just to learn about them. We would like to help you get rid of them.
Are you interested in receiving assistance in limiting this issue?
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, we don't have really. I mean, all the ceramic that we get is generally committed towards, jars and maintenance of the various wells throughout the city, so we couldn't really pay you anything.
So close to getting paid twice for the same job. Damn.
It's almost
I
like
tried.
I was honestly just hoping that they'd be like, "Yeah, I mean, we offered this guy 900 ceramic bits to do it, and then we'd, just
I
slice
see.
that stupid bit."
You'd kill the
That's what I
middleman.
was-
Cut out the middleman.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
He'd probably like that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I would tell you more, but I don't really do the finances and things like that.
Yeah,
You'd have to.
just seeking a way to end the problem.
Well,
The
Yeah, do
Thrag
you know who we could talk to that might know more about the whole situation and how we could help you guys out?
Meridos Austerian. He's the chief cleric here, and he's someone you could talk to if you want.
Is he the large bossy man over there?
He is the small bossy man.
The small bossy man. Okay, whatever. All right. Well, thank you. We're gonna go talk to him. We appreciate it.
Of course.
I turn around and waddle toward the small bossy man.
Yeah, and he seems to be talking to somebody about a jar where it needs to go. He talks about how
Okay.
it needs to be brought to the food emporium to keep things moisturized.
I just patiently wait,
He
making like
turns.
awkward, uncomfortable attempt at eye contact.
Yeah. So, yeah, this guy he's a short guy, and he seems very proper. There's like not a wrinkle on his robes. He's got white hair, but he seems to be clearly balding, and is a profound receding hairline. But he's let it grow out very, very long down to not very, very long, but long down to his shoulders. It's very, very thin. and has sort of a plain face and simple brown eyes. And he says, "Oh, hello."
Hi.
Hi.
Hi there.
What's up?
I
How
heard
may I
you
help
guys
you?
are having a problem with bugs in the water. A friend of ours told us about this, and we were wanting to potentially try and help you. And some of your clerics said that you would be the one to talk to about
Oh yeah.
gaining access
Yeah,
and
there's
helping.
a lot of bugs down there. That's for sure. But we're working to take care of them. I don't really have a great plan how, but with the proper filtration techniques, we're able to still get water out to the people. It's become a little bit more expensive. But so that is indeed the situation.
And do you know where the bugs are getting in?
The well.
Well, I meant, but how are they? Are they just accessing it from the top of the well?
We believe they're underground.
Okay, so they're digging in through the side of the well. Okay. Cup, do you have any bug questions?
He turns and looks at the dry crane.
He shakes his head and just kind of stays quiet.
We are allied with a wise man who knows how to disinfect the water and eliminate the bug issue at its source.
Really?
We are attempting to acquire what we need to make this happen for you.
He nods and he looks towards I forgot your character's name. I care deeply. Trust me.
Shrasa?
Rakshasha?
Rakshasa.
Just like Shrasa and
Shrasa. He looks over
make like
at Shrasa and he says, "So you've come to serve the elements?"
yes. Specifically water,
He nods
Yes.
because I'm about that.
and he says, "Wow. I'm glad you're finding your way." He kind of looks you up and down, kind of examining you in a way, and he kind of gives a nod.
So, if you don't mind, we're gonna go and get our friends and discuss our potential plan for fixing the well, and we'll come back when we have some ideas and some supplies.
You can do that, but right now the funds are a little light, so we can't really afford to pay you very much. But I think that it would be best for all if what was natural was allowed to be pure.
I agree. So, we'll be back later.
He says, of course. And he leans forward and he spits on the ground, which you know is like a sign of respect.
Yeah.
Just step up to him.
I put a hand on Milo's chest.
He turns and he looks at you and like he does not flinch.
Yeah, I put a hand on Milo's chest and then also spit on the ground and then turn and walk out.
Cup looks at everyone spitting and decides to just follow suit and spits on the ground as well, just like a gross green
But it's like
blob
way
mixing
more.
in.
It's like
Yeah, it's like spit in mouth. It's like slobbering all over the place.
Alright, so
Spitting without lips is pretty hard too.
It's just sort of like he gleeks. He just kind of
Yeah, he just jizzles out. While he maintains eye contact, unblinking.
That's what happened all last night. The whole time.
That room is a mess.
Yeah. They're never letting you back. No. But you guys.
The bed was just floating.
You guys are. I like that one. But you guys are able to part ways without starting a fight with this water
nailed
cleric.
it. Nailed it.
who definitely you know, was
It was a strange encounter.
a charming fellow, I think. Yeah, so you guys make your way outside back into the lovely land of Dark Sun.
Have we met up with them yet?
Yeah, I was gonna say where are.
Well, we'll pretend like you guys established a place to meet up. Where?
Okay.
Instead of just walking around doing, where they go?
We're walking the same direction around the town.
Yeah, complete circles. I have donned my red and white striped traveler's clothes.
Nice. I got my turban on.
I'm wearing the same thing I've been wearing.
I was making a Where's Waldo reference, but
I guess
Everyone, go ahead and roll me a D100.
awesome. Nothing bad can possibly come of
How do I
this.
do that again?
It's fine.
You type /1D100. Okay.
Oh, it didn't like it. Hold on.
Alright.
There it goes.
So, as you guys are leaving the temple, you guys see a interesting figure kind of cross the ways, and there's sort of like a sort of buffer around him, right, where people don't really get too close. Nameless. This is particularly interesting to you as he is a Thrycreen.
His bug face
Friend!
uses that face as best it can.
Except instead of his mouth being agape, his mandibles just spread
Yeah,
wide.
He has a carapace of this sort of yellowish green hue. He's wearing long robes that are kind of flowing about him, and he's got some sort of marking just below, sort of like where his robes cover, so you can't quite see, but you can see every so often when it moves. There's something there. At his side, you can see that he's got a pair of tchotchkes, and you can tell as he walks that there's something hidden under his cloak, but you can't quite see what it is. And people kind of part ways around him. As he walks past, you can see the cloak flitter past him, behind him, and it is a long green cape with the black wheel and a black star on it. And he goes inside of the Temple of Blessed Waters. Anyway, I guess if you guys don't do anything,
Wait, he went inside the temple?
Yep.
Well, I don't.
Can we follow him back inside the temple?
I mean, if you. Do you?
This is fun. I'm just gonna keep describing people that you guys just follow.
That's interesting. Strange. Okay, and then we continue on.
Well, we don't normally see
Well,
Thrycreens
I mean,
around the city.
Are we with them now?
Not right now. You didn't roll
Okay.
well enough on your D100s.
I'll nudge Cup.
You guys have like an armful of rink and stuff that are like slowly kind of.
Is he a friend of
So-
yours, Cup?
Yeah. Cup, do you know him?
No.
Just because he's Thrycreen, you think he knows another
Alright.
Thrycreen?
Still very.
Yeah, it's like anybody of any profession automatically knows everybody else.
All
in that
bricklayers
profession.
know each other. All dwarves know each
Right.
other.
Oh, you know Jim?
Yeah.
Oh, Jim's famous. That's different. He's a legend.
That's true. He's the pantheon of the bricklayers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well. That's
So
odd.
yeah, there was a bug man that happened. So should we find our friends?
Yes.
They have a lot of money, so.
Let's do this thing.
That's-
So where are we meeting? Because we apparently supposedly already know this.
I don't know. You guys decide where you wanted to meet.
Our meeting place
Where did we want to
determined.
meet?
was outside of House Anika, remember?
Oh
That
yeah,
sounds right. I remember saying that.
you're
Yeah.
right, Milo.
Sure.
Let's head that way.
All right. Yeah, you guys gather around House Anika. Like I said, there's a building that has the the flags of House Anika on every side. And there's a large flag blowing in the wind overhead. Guards scattered around, but at House Anika itself, it's got particular guards that are clearly of the house itself. Waiting there as the hot sun beats down on all of you. I'll say by the time you guys have finally gathered together and stuff, it's a little afternoon. So probably like 1.
Good.
All right. Well, we've got supplies. I vote we head out. I guess.
There were bugs in the well. We discovered.
That's good.
Yeah, we
That's
talked
good. He
to
wasn't
you-
lying to us. That's good.
We
to know.
talked to the water clerics.
Yes.
Did they explain why the bugs are in the well in the first place?
They're
coming
attracted to the moisture.
in. Bugs enjoy water.
He did
Most
say,
living things do.
didn't our friend in the inn say something along the lines of putting the poison or whatever around the edge
He did.
rather
Yes.
than in the water?
Right.
Because the cleric said that these bugs are digging like in the side of the well
Yes,
from
but they're not,
underground.
aren't necessarily digging into the water. I mean, I think the
Sure.
issue is that they're getting into the water when they die or they drown in the water, and that's what's
Okay.
causing it to be poisoned. But that's good to know that it's actually a problem and he's not planning some sort of mass Thrycreen assassination or something.
Cup nods happily in agreement.
What's that?
I gently pat him on the head. Try to.
Maybe we should find out the exact spot of this plant that we're supposed to be looking for.
I mean,
It was off the King's Road, wasn't it?
we'll just find it, I'm sure.
About 3 days from here, half a
That's
day
how
off
these
the
things
King's Road.
go.
Am I remembering that correctly, Dennis, or do I need to roll an intelligence check to make sure I'm remembering that correctly?
Yeah, it's about 3 days.
Off the King's Road, right? Like
Oh, it's
down the King's Road and then half a day off the King's Road. Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure I had the right road.
yes. It's not the King's Road though.
It's the People's
Yep,
Road,
there it
right?
is.
It's not the People's Road either. You guys are killing me. This is for the berries.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Great Road.
And
Great
So,
Make
it's
the
okay.
road great again. Okay. Gotcha.
The People's Road goes towards Gulg. And that travels hard east more or less. The Trade Road travels south towards Balak. The Great Road moves sort of northeast towards Silver Spring, and there's simply just one road that's just known as the what's it called here? The Tyrian Road, which is leading towards Tyr.
Aptly named.
All right.
Let's
Well-
set out with daylight.
Charge forth.
I charge the door. Yes, but I don't think we have enough money to stay anywhere. So
What?
we should probably. You said with daylight. I assume that means you travel in the morning.
Oh, no. We have
Travel
daylight now.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. We all set out, I assume.
Yes. Make your goodbyes.
Goodbye, everyone I didn't know in this city. Mayhap I meet you another day in another life. For mine will surely end on the morrow.
You wouldn't have happened to tell those people by the well what we were planning to do, did you?
We told them that we wanted to help.
We were wisely vague.
Good.
I
Alright.
believe.
That's good. I don't think we really needed. Well, no, it's still probably good. It's a good plan. Good job.
Yes. Thank you.
Good talk.
It's a good thing you did there.
Yes.
Gold star.
Hooray!
Okay.
Good.
So
Alright.
if you guys are just gonna book it immediately,
Good talk.
you're able to get about a half a day's travel. Is what we're gonna be looking at. So
Hell yeah.
what do you guys? So I will tell you that as you make your way along the Great Road, that it is an exciting adventure. Let's see here. Yeah, we're good. So let me go ahead and pull this up. Okay. And so you're going across like a very sort of rocky sort of terrain. Definitely not something that of which is super, comfortable, if you will, to travel along. But it is movable as there's a road that of which gathers there. So are you guys like just marching along the road? Or are you doing anything in particular?
I think we're traveling at a normal
Yeah,
pace,
I
probably.
think we're just waddling
Yep.
along.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
I'm not waddling. That is
Yeah,
not a mode
no.
of transit that I have.
I'm more like shimmying.
Probably skipping.
Absolutely. Pulls up the random encounter table.
You don't have to do that, Dennis.
Probably keep an eye out for threats.
You don't have to do that.
But I do. Alright, so we're looking at this. Ooh, colorful. Okay. And you have that with you? Okay. Excellent. So go ahead and roll me. Somebody, whoever wants to, can. 2d6 twice.
Not it.
I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll doom us all. Never mind. Somebody
Oh,
else
look
got
what
it.
you've done.
Okay.
We are doomed.
Alright.
What have you wrought?
So you guys are able to truck along for a little while. Probably about 4 hours or so. It's starting to get into the evening. Whenever something happens. So now is an excellent time for you to go ahead and roll me a d20.
Who? Everyone?
We'll say Mike, since he
Hey, since
already rolled.
Yeah, you.
since he already rolled,
You.
brought this on
you
us.
brought
Yeah,
you
you-
wrought this destruction.
Yeah. Reap
So
what
what
you
is it I'm
sow.
doing?
Roll a
D20.
d20.
Roll d20. That's not a
D-
d20.
That's not a
D29.
That's a different
Nice.
number.
Good try.
It's a
Good
different-
try.
16.
The spelling error saved us.
Okay.
Maybe.
So yeah, so you guys are pretty doing pretty okay. Whenever something happens.
Dragon.
So let me go ahead and do this real quick. As I have to pull up a couple things. It's not a dragon. They're called drakes
Alright.
in this setting.
Oh, good.
Dargon.
Could just randomly be a dragon that existed somehow.
Yeah, also possible. Also possible.
Ancient red dragon. Just bam.
Just bam.
Stumble upon a sorcerer king.
He makes that noise. He jumps onto the road and goes, just
Bam!
bam.
It's Emerald.
All right.
Emerald,
Bam!
ancient great worm red
Yeah.
dragon.
And I'm gonna go ahead and say we're gonna go ahead and take a little.
Nah.
We're gonna go ahead and take a little bit of a break here as I set up this encounter, and I will let you guys know when you get back.
Okay, I'm gonna hum the Star Trek deathmatch music to myself the whole time.
Strong. Well, no. Let me tell you what actually plays. I'll show you. So
I do the Kirk two-fisted punch thing
Yeah,
no.
awkwardly.
it's a rabbit punch technically, although he does not execute it well.
Is that a rabbit punch?
Oh, there it is.
Ah,
Okay.
shit.
I throw the master ball.
Yeah. It could work. We'll have to find out.
Not very
It
effective.
has to. It's a master ball.
It's actually in the original version. It actually had like a 0.1% chance to fail because of.
Yeah, it didn't work on the Mewtwo for me. I had to use a freaking Ultra Ball. Bullshit.
Sad day.
Yeah.
Why you multiply that shit? Cinnabar Island.
Man, that's
Mm,
the
glorious missing no.
my favorite Pokemon.
Don't catch it.
No, no, you don't want to do that.
I did. I caught it. I let that shit go nuts. Let's see here. Where are your stats? Do-do-do.
Over there.
You're wrong. So, that does
Oh.
not help.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was over there.
Maybe. Let me check. Let me go ahead and grab that. Alright, come here. Yeah, you're gonna see a couple of really charming figures very soon.
I think that's sarcasm.
I find them charming. I don't know No,
Definitely sarcasm then.
no, it's not sarcasm. I like them.
Be back in 2 seconds.
You just might find them less charming. Here you are, my pets. So there's that.
Fly, my pretties, fly.
Okie day. And then. Okay. Nope, not what I want. Bang. Okay. So, we're gonna go over here. And we're gonna do the thing that I do. Any moment. There we go. Alright. Alright, you guys are all here. Nobody left. Alright. Let me go ahead and give this guy a thingy so that he can do things.
Strong.
Alright. So, everybody good to go? Alright,
Yeah.
my apologies for the delay. But
That's a random encounter.
But as is the nature of random encounters, as you guys are sort of marching along, sort of over the horizon, you see these four figures. They're coming from from the west, and they just sort of crest over this hill, and they seem to be moving really slowly, kind of lumbering towards you guys, and then you hear them release this sort of strange noise that sounds like a strange clink of teeth and attempt of almost like a yelp. And they begin to hurtle down towards you, sort of running sort of awkwardly towards you guys, nearly falling down, but continuing to maintain rushing towards you. And you see they are, at first you see them and you think they are effectively some sort of dogmen coming towards you, with clubs at the ready, these very small clubs. But as they get closer, you see that they are in fact skeletal in nature. Their attire tattered and worn away, and they're leading these sort of yelps as they kind of hurtle towards you guys, sort of running in a staggered fashion. I need to grab all you guys' tokens because I bet you guys want to be there for this. You can do without.
I mean,
maybe I'll sit this one out.
They're skeletal, and I'm sitting here with all piercing damage, and I just feel, like maybe not a great choice in hindsight.
I mean, if they're skeletal, like they barely have, they got no meat on them. Like, what's the value here? Just let them run on by.
Yeah.
They want our meat, though.
Yeah.
That's the problem. There's the
Yeah, they do.
You could say that that's a problem. I don't think it's too bad. But I'm gonna go ahead and pull you guys on over to where you need to be. Boom.
Ah, let's spook.
Baldir negotiates.
Whoa.
Alright, so select our tokens and do the thing.
Do the thing.
Do the initiative
That's
thing.
the best thing to do at this point.
Oh, are we rolling? Oh shit, I'm not ready.
You
Oh,
gotta click
panic.
on your token first. Remember this. Coming back to me.
Absolutely. Ah, Jesus. Y'all rolled repeatedly.
Oh, the rolling!
Okay, I'm deleting some dudes. Alright, there we go. Alright, I'm gonna say you guys look done. So let me go ahead and arrange you guys appropriately. Alright. So, as these creatures hurtle down towards you, we're gonna go ahead and leave with Quixote's turn.
Sure. I'm gonna lead off with a psychic hammer at this dude right here in the front.
Sure.
Actually, you know what? I'll go for the guy in the back.
Absolutely.
He's gotta make a strength save.
Yeah. He can do that. He's pretty strong. I would say strength is not his worst stat. Let me go ahead and turn down the music a little bit. That was a little high.
I'm jamming.
Oh.
I'm still gonna let it be, but not. You can turn it up. Like, I'm not the boss. You have the power.
I mean, technically, you are the boss of us, though.
In a way. Yeah, it does not succeed.
Alright, so he's gonna take 4 force damage, and I'm gonna push him back 10 feet.
Okay, yeah.
So there.
Absolutely, yeah. He's pushed back. He doesn't like that. To here. Bang.
I'll step back over here, and I'm done.
Cool. Yeah, so he makes no face at all, as he is a skeleton and is incapable. But
He doesn't have a face.
he lets this sort of strange yelp, and you can see that there are sinews of what was once a beast sort of reverberate in some capacity. Nameless, it is your turn.
Alright, I'm gonna run up to the one that is closest to me and try to position myself there between them and the other people in the party, and then I'm gonna strike with my quarterstaff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a hit. Okay, and that's -1, I assume?
Alright.
Yes.
Yeah. And then for my bonus action, I'm going to take on the... What's it called? Really quickly. I'm going to take on the iron durability thing, so that gives me a +1 to AC, so I have 16 now for any roll.
Sure.
And then I'm going to end my turn.
Absolutely. Milo.
Milo's eyes are like wide with fear. He's like freaking out a bit. But I would like to rage. And go ahead and so I will have started to like run towards the front guy, and then he all of a sudden gets launched back 10 feet, and I get a little confused. I'm gonna keep on running anyway,
Sure.
and try to give him a little tap.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna do it. Oh wait.
That'll do it.
No, that didn't do it. No, 12 is what we're looking for. 12 is what we're looking for.
Ah,
It was a good try.
thanks.
And now it is Faldir's turn. I don't remember
Okay.
what people's tokens are.
That's fine. I'm going to pull out my blowgun and shoot the one next to Nameless
Sure.
Cup and miss.
Not gonna do
So
it.
that's good.
Not gonna do it.
Okay. I'm going to then so I'm able to then put my blowgun away and pull my bard's friends, right? Is that amenable, or
I'll say you can drop it on the ground. I can't say you can't like holster it. You're not a fucking like gunslinger here. You can drop it on the ground and then pull out another weapon.
one day? Okay. Well, in that case, I'm just going to
Okay.
2, 5. Yeah, I'm gonna move here,
Okay.
and I'll end my turn.
Absolutely.
It's alright. So
So it is now your
I
turn. Shrasa.
yeah. So I'm gonna try and move over here,
You succeed.
and then, hooray! Step 1 complete, and then I'm gonna try and do a stabby thing, which is completely useless. But you know what?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
making an
not,
effort.
that's not gonna do it. That's not gonna do it.
No, No.
That's insufficient.
I tried.
Insufficient.
Doesn't that,
I tried so hard.
you know, I hate to be that guy, but doesn't that mean she has to roll to see if her weapon
It
breaks?
does. That's what I was gonna say. That's fine. So go ahead and roll me a
Okay.
d3.
What do I roll? D3.
Oh, is it on a crit fail or a crit hit?
Wow.
Okay,
Oop.
so you lunge forward with your obsidian dagger. The creature swings
tried so
around
hard.
with his. Well, the creature swings back to try and deflect it with its large club that it has, and your dagger breaks.
Nailed it.
There's not even much to a
Nailed it.
dagger. Like, now it's
It's
just a
just dust.
pointy piece. Yeah.
So now it's their turn.
They can.
And let's see here. Well, it definitely is more intimidated by this weird magic guy. So this guy's gonna be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at that, 6, perfect. And this guy's gonna go right there. And now they're all beautifully aligned. All right, so bad guy's gonna go and do their thing now. All right, gets a multi attack, nice. So first,
That's a good noise.
no, yeah, it's fine. So first, this guy's the guy next to you, Shrasa, is gonna he's not super impressed by you, but you know he does have his club ready, so he's gonna go ahead and take a swing at you.
Hooray!
And he's gonna do it, yeah.
Jesus, fuck.
Did he crit?
He did.
Fuck.
Maybe his club breaks.
I'm
Yeah, silver lining. I mean, one party member's dead now, but
D&D, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Natural 1, hit by a natural 20. That's just how it goes.
but
Brutal,
now there's
man.
balance restored to the
Sure,
universe, so
so-
there's that.
Brutal.
So you go ahead and take 6 points of damage.
Okay.
And after just clobbering you, he feels like he did a good job.
Have you recently been in contact with Will Wheaton? Is that
With what?
with
Will
Will
Wheaton.
Wheaton?
Oh no.
Okay, just checking. It just seems
No,
to be that
listen.
cosmic.
I always roll very well when it comes to killing party members in various capacities.
I mean, you're a divination mage. You have control of how you roll. But anyway,
It's really unfair.
That's neither here nor there.
And then he's gonna go ahead and launch out and try to take a bite at this weird bug. Which I assume hits.
Just misses.
He's got an AC of 30.
Alright, well, he's gonna take some damage. Either way. So he takes min damage. So it could be a lot worse. Then we're gonna go ahead and have the guy that Milo just took a swing at, but did not succeed at quite hitting. He's gonna go ahead and take a couple bites.
It's only fair if he doesn't succeed either.
So he does.
Does his face break?
So being that we were doing clubs first, we're gonna go ahead and roll to see if he breaks his club as he takes a swing at you. Which he does. So he takes a swing at you and his club clatters away. But he's still snarling, launches forward to take a bite out of you. Ba-doop. And I assume that hits.
Well, kinda.
I would hope so. For 5 points of damage, which is halved.
Are we? When we're having, are we rounding up or down?
God, I forget this rule every time.
You always
I-
round down.
I think
Do we?
you round down.
Yep.
I mean, it's up to you.
No,
like, if
I
you
think-
just,
I think you
just
round
say
down.
it now and
No, I think
Okay.
that's true. I think that's true.
Okay.
And then the guy. Let's see here. So what do you have out right now? What weapon do you have out right now, Faldir?
Right now, I have my blowgun out, technically.
All right, he's Well, oh no, he's not smart. He's a dumb.
you got a hollow stick.
a-
You don't give a shit about
He's a
you.
dog monster. He doesn't really care.
Yep, he's hungry.
He's an undead dog monster. So he's gonna go ahead and take a chomp at you all the same. I assume that misses.
Misses.
All right.
Yep.
It's okay. So that was a swing with his club. I'm sorry. And then he's gonna try and take a chomp out of you.
That hits.
They're good at biting.
Yeah.
As dogs should
It's
be.
like it's their natural weapon or something.
Exactly. So that's 4 points of damage to you.
Okay.
And then we go on over to Quixote, and first a club is gonna be aimed your way, which I assume misses.
Yep.
And then he's gonna try to bite you. Does a 12 hit?
That also misses.
Okay. It is now your turn.
All right, I'm gonna hit him with another psychic hammer, so another strength saving throw.
Yep, absolutely. He's gonna go ahead and make that roll.
And it's on this guy right next to me.
Okay. Yeah. So he does not succeed. He rolls poorly.
He's gonna.
And
Yeah, he's gonna take 6 force. I'm gonna push him back 10 feet diagonally this way.
okay.
And I'm gonna try to move. These guys seem pretty quick, right? Like
Yeah.
they move a whole lot of speed. So this will be 15. This will be 30.
Okay.
And then I'll use my bonus action to change my psychic focus.
Okay. And it is now your turn, Mr. Bugman. Now would be a premium.
That's badass that you typed that up for when you swap your proficiency.
Yeah, I made macros. Just so
That's
it's
cool.
easier.
I wish I knew how to do that.
I can show you. It's really easy.
Yeah, I'd love that. I am going to swing once again with my quarterstaff. So let's try that one out.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a hit.
And then I put the -1 into my
I see that.
weapon already.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that
Oh.
our first non-magical hit?
No,
Your
I
first
did
action.
it last turn.
No,
Oh,
you did it
okay,
last
nice.
time.
Yeah. And then yeah, I'm gonna end my turn there. I don't have anything else to do. Bonus action is gonna continue keeping the thing going, the +1 AC.
Hold on. I'm just looking at something real quick. I gotcha. Okay. Stop being crazy town. Yeah, but you're able to clobber this guy, and you do just enough damage to bring him down to 0. And as you take your heavy swing, you feel the bones crack beneath it, and he shatters into splinters, basically. Little bone chunks lying around the rock and such.
Nice.
And it is now our favorite barbarian, Milo.
Okay. It felt good about blocking that club into demolishing it, but less good about getting nibbled on. So he's gonna smack at the, we'll call him Nibbler.
Yeah, not gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Not gonna do it.
Yeah. With his bonus action, he's gonna be frustrated.
He succeeds. But you have to roll.
Okay.
And so, Faldir, you got a dog friend?
Yep, I see that. I'm going to drop my blowgun. I'm going to snap both of my bard's friends into place. So these leather straps basically unfurl and 2 daggers swing up into my hands as I stab at this dog friend of mine. And miss.
I mean, you try.
And as a bonus action, I'm going to turn to Milo and go, Milo, remember the tale of Jim, and give him bardic inspiration.
Yeah. Fighting dog zombies is also like building bricks.
Yeah, it's how his entire party died, actually.
He's not a bricklayer, he's a bone layer.
I never told you. The mortar was the bones of his enemies.
Wait. I see that. Okay. Yeah, so anyway. So that was stunningly impressive, I would say. And it is now Shrasa's
Brand.
turn.
Well, I run the fuck away. Because I have nothing I can do. So I'm just gonna go down here.
Pick up his club.
I can?
I don't know.
I thought it broke.
No, different person's broke.
Oh. Well then sure, I'll pick it up. Why not?
I have no,
Alright.
I have no reason.
I pick up his club, but I'm still gonna like chill out over here.
Acclimate with that area.
So you run away, then run back to pick up the club.
She like starts to run, then she goes, wait, my friends, and then she grabs the club and then runs away.
Alright. At this point, this dog fella is gonna go move on over here. Wait, why did I do that? I don't know why I did that. I know why I did that, because it's his turn. And he's gonna go ahead and move over here and say hi to this bug man.
Boop.
And he's gonna go ahead and take a swing with his club. And he's gonna do good old 4 points of damage. And then he's gonna go ahead and take a bite with his snags, as they say. Does 17 hit?
Sorry, I was totally muted. I'm gonna use my reaction and use 2 side points for Ironhide.
Okay.
So that ups my AC just enough so that it misses.
Okay. Absolutely.
So I just take the 4.
Yes.
Cool.
And then our good friend Milo, the guy in front of you is gonna go ahead and take a swing. He's gonna just go ahead and take a bite at you because he no longer has a club. Does 13 hit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the frown is not great armor, guys.
Okay. Alright, you go ahead and take 3 points of damage.
Got it.
Scowl.
And then we're looking at let's see here.
Faldir?
Yeah, we're looking at Faldir now. He's gonna go ahead and take a swing at you with the club. 16
That
hits.
hits.
Okay.
Yep.
So for 4 points of damage. And then he's gonna go and try to take a bite of you with his teeth. And I assume that misses?
That misses!
Hey.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
And it is now your turn, Zihoti.
I'm gonna hit this guy with the Psychic Hammer. The one next to the Thrycreen.
Okay.
1 second. There you go. So our DC 14 strength save.
Okay, he succeeds.
Yeah. All right.
So does he take any
I'm
damage?
gonna stay. No, you don't,
Okay.
because it's just
Strength
talent.
save. Gotcha.
That's it. I'm done. I don't got anything else to do.
Cool. Absolutely. Thrycreen time.
Get him, Cup.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'm just
here.
shouting moral support.
Yeah. You got this, Cub. Yeah.
I'm taking on the role of a bard from now on without the inspiration.
Yeah, without
Yeah.
any benefits.
I am going to use Mind Blast, which will. Let me see. Yeah, it's a con saving throw. On fail, they go prone. Let me see what my thing is. It's a 10 DC.
Okay. Yeah. So he's gonna go ahead and go prone
And then let me see here.
as he takes a couple points of damage.
Yeah, he takes 3 points and then he's knocked prone.
No problem. No problem.
Cool. And then with that in mind, I'm going to run up over to here.
Okay.
And
He's gonna go ahead and try and take
And my
a
turn.
snack.
oh, he can still
Yeah, but he has
trigger
disadvantage.
attack
disadvantage.
option. Okay, yeah, that's fine then.
Alright, and he does not hit.
Cool. Yeah, and that ends my turn. Same thing with the AC again.
And it is now your turn, Monsieur Bard.
It's actually
I'm
Milo's
sorry,
turn.
it's Milo's turn. I thought he was done, so I skipped.
I mean, I'm
Moved over to him.
sort of a bard.
Yeah.
Kind of a bard these days. Well, I'm
To
gonna
some.
continue tilting at this particular windmill here. Ha ha. 18. Right?
That is gonna hit for sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
Alright. 8 whopping damage.
Woohoo!
You definitely whop him. And he doesn't care for that at all.
And this is at the same one, the one who was injured with the mine hammer thing.
No, it's a different one.
That's the one below you.
Shit.
Well, I mean, you have had to move.
Yeah.
And probably take 2 AAOs.
I thought that was I thought it was fighting the one who got hit with the first mind hammer thing at the start of it.
Oh, that is true.
No, yeah, that is true. But this guy, he rolled well for his HP.
That's fair.
But he's hurt real bad as far as skeletons go.
Yeah.
He's real low.
Feel it.
And it is now your turn.
Mr. Bard.
Mr. Bard.
Hardly.
Okay. I'm gonna take 2 swings at him
At 9 to
and just not
that'll hit.
have a good day.
Bard's other friend will hit.
Awesome.
Yep.
Strong.
He takes it.
Real strong.
He takes all of it. He takes.
Bard's
Guys-
other-
Fighting's not my
Oh no! I see what happened. No, this guy, the one you attacked, is actually the one that got hit by the by mind blast,
psychic hammer,
by
but that's
psychic
fine.
hammer, whatever. Listen, that's what I had marked. Maybe I made a mistake, but you'll have to be okay with it.
Okay. That's fine.
Cool. I'm gonna die now, so that's fine.
Well, we'll find out together.
Mhm.
So first, this guy, he doesn't care for what just happened. He's gonna get up, stretches his
Did I go?
legs. Oh, I see. I skipped you because I kept.
Fine. I continue to be far away yelling.
Oh, okay.
I want my turn.
I was just really confused.
All right, my apologies. No, I
Okay.
did accidentally skip you. Yes.
I was like, do I suddenly not understand how combat works?
No,
Because
no.
that's entirely possible. But
Oh yeah, you're good. And so at this point, it's gonna be going after Thrycreen time. So he's gonna take a swing with his club,
Love you.
and he's gonna hit.
Maybe he breaks the thing though.
He might.
Oh
Maybe he breaks
no.
Silver lining. Don't get squashed,
So you're
bug.
gonna take 5
Don't get
damage,
squashed.
Oh, nice.
and
Not too bad.
he's not broken.
Fuck.
Alright.
Yeah, but I'm down, so
You're down.
you down?
All right.
yeah.
Okay. Cool. So you're down. Take a nap. And he's gonna go ahead and try to take a bite out of you while you're down. So let's see how that goes. So that's a hit, I assume.
The 23.
Yep.
The 23?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he has advantage because you're down.
Yeah, that's a hit.
Okay. Alright. So you're gonna take 8 points of damage as he chomps on you.
Okay, so I'm
Right.
dead.
Oh,
So,
wow. That's tough.
Yeah, -8?
oh
no, you don't go
no.
into minuses.
You lose it. You take a death save. Is how it works.
Right.
You have 3. You have 3 death
Oh, okay. So I'm
Yeah.
not dead. Never mind.
Yeah.
I just take a death save.
saves. One more turn, you probably will be.
Yeah.
Assuming, yeah.
I'm not 100% on the rules, so we'll say that's the case, but we'll find out later. But for now, we're
Yeah.
just gonna say you take an
We'll,
extra dex
we'll
save.
correct it next time.
Yeah, so you're fine.
I'm just glad I'm not dead.
You're not dead right now.
So, just curious, Dennis. Did these guys roll up over the hill in a white panel van, or
Hey, you guys got to fight. It's not my fault you lost.
Get that reference. Yeah, at least we get to fight back.
Listen, the white panel van, there was no fighting back. There was just.
Yeah, they just shot into our car. That was it.
Yep. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
Listen, welcome. Listen, all right. Do you need to read my shirt again? Like.
Nope.
All right. This is Dark Side. You're fine. You guys have heals, right? So, we're gonna go ahead and say that the guy next to Milo is gonna go ahead and take a bite out of him, or at least try. I assume a 9 misses,
It does miss.
and then the guy
Go, lad.
next to Mr. Bard is gonna go ahead and take a swing with his club.
Nope.
And then he's gonna take a bite with his snags and also miss.
Nope.
All right.
You're alive!
I am desperate.
But it is now your turn, Ziote.
Yep, I'm gonna try again to. You know what? I'm gonna take the risk and see if these guys are affected by psychic at all. So
I'm
this
just
guy
gonna
is
tell you low probability. I'm just gonna help you. I'm gonna.
They don't have brains.
They don't seem to have. They seems to be hollow in there.
All right, then I'll just do another psychic hammer.
All right. Which one?
This one.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry, the one below the Thrycreen.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you do enough damage to kill him. He had 2
Sweet.
HP left. So
Hooray!
so another blow of psychic energy slams into him. He shatters over the Thrycreen. Thrycreen takes more damage and dies. No. But now it is time to roll a not die save and to roll well.
I advise that.
I send moral support cups away.
That's not gonna do it. All right. My apologies.
Critical fail isn't 2 death saves, right?
It's 2 death saves, yeah.
Okay, so now I'm dead.
Unfortunately.
Cup!
Welcome to Darkstone, guys.
Cup!
Dark says it's fine.
We bonded.
I yell at Cup and doesn't Cup!
You watched me sleep.
Listen, you know what?
Oh, man.
Let's more XP, and you guys can take his stuff, and so it's all fine.
The
All those
rations go-
supplies we bought.
Yeah, the rations go so much further now.
Now I'm going to feel his gaze upon me whenever I sleep.
Yeah.
Whenever I sleep.
His
The
ghost,
rest of my
his
life.
spectral gaze. Milo.
All right, so can I go into like Ultra Rage?
Is that a? Do you have that?
Like
I would like
Omni Rage?
do you
extra
have
rage.
that feature?
Yeah.
I would like to rage, but better.
Yeah, can I just more angrier? Yeah, I'm gonna actually. So dudes are dying, and Faldir's looking pretty rough, right?
I'm not in the best of places.
He looks
Alright.
bad, but like not quite as bad as Cup.
If I were to express my health in a number, it would be 2.
I'm gonna go ahead and
Thing.
strike this dude right here and try to get his attention and shout something incomprehensible as I do it. I'm gonna go ahead and how many? What's that inspiration die
You
number
roll
on
a
it?
D6.
Doing the
You
math in
have,
my brain.
You have a 33% chance of
Yeah.
being able to hit.
Better than 33. Right?
Repeating.
Yeah,
Repeating threes, of
33.3.
course.
Repeating.
Tell me it's better than 33. I think it's a little better than 33.
Oh.
It's a good try.
One away.
I appreciate the effort.
But it is now your turn, Mr. Bard.
I'm going to weep internally
Disengage and run.
as I strike this thing.
Holy shit!
Man, killer! It's game time.
Nice.
I mean, it's some damage. It's a non-zero value, and I'll take it.
So basically, yeah. Tell me, how do you kill him?
How do you want to do this?
Is the other one dead too?
No, but it's the more interesting.
Okay.
I mean, the other one's,
Okay.
Milo's got it, so.
Yeah, I got this.
I'm going
Stop
to slash across it with both of my bard's friends, gradually cutting away at the sinew, holding its limbs together, and it's just going to fall apart into a pile of bones,
Yeah, absolutely. That definitely happens.
filled with the rage for my friend having died. That is consuming me.
Of course.
Did we all get like a last psychic message of like friend?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
thanks, cool. Needed that.
It's very heartfelt and emotional.
Cup or pillow or whatever, never forget.
Yeah. No name, never forget.
Funny that you don't forget, because he always did.
There's an irony in that. A beautiful one. It's okay, you guys can name the group after him. It is now your...
By changing the name of our group every day.
That's right. That's really going to be helpful for branding, by the way.
Yeah.
It is now your turn, Strassa.
I continue to be utterly useless.
Strong. But you have a club.
Old.
But I can't get all the way up there.
Alright.
In the amount of time.
Listen, I'm not.
2, 3, 4, 5.
I mean, I
Good.
moved closer, but
You totally
Well,
could.
she just
this is
moved.
after I've already moved closer. I was down here.
Oh, okay.
If you
never
use
mind.
the dash action, you could probably get there.
Yeah, and then they'll just eat you immediately.
Yep.
Yeah.
So first, this guy's going to go ahead and try to take a bite out of Milo. That's going to do it.
This is
I'm rolling really good.
yeah, you heard.
Ah, man, I cursed myself. I jinxed myself. But you go ahead and take
Ow.
2 points of damage.
Ugh.
Alright. And it is now
I'm having no problem maintaining this rage though. It's great.
Quixote. It is your turn.
I'm gonna get a little bit closer, whip out my sling, and try to hit this guy.
Absolutely. Yep. That does hit.
Oh, that does hit actually. So I do 3
Go.
bludgeoning.
And he has exactly
friend.
3 HP left.
Woo!
So
Sweet.
the ball that you hurl at him, the rock smashes into his skull and it shatters, and he falls into the ground, this crumpled mass. So at this point, you guys sort of rise up, having had this intense battle. You know, it's been pretty tough, but you all sort of gather around the Thri-kreen.
I tried to rage revive him.
Yeah.
Oh no. No. Just not like this.
But no, but you see he's withered. There's a huge chunk of his carapace that's been ripped to the side, and where this creature clearly bit into him and tore away flesh. There's a sort of dark ichor that is blood rolling out of him.
I don't know what to say. Didn't really know him too well.
His name was Cup.
Sometimes.
And Pillow.
He died. This Cup.
I'm going
Maybe
to,
we should make a grave marker for him.
I'm going to put my hand on his forehead and I'm going to say, "It is okay, friend. For one day I will tell your story as well." I'm going to attempt to close his eyes and then realize they don't have lids.
Yeah, it's just like
And I'm just
poke
gonna,
at him
like-
awkwardly. Like clink, clink, clink.
I'm gonna stick my tar into the ground and play a few sad notes.
Gonna ponder if his carapace would make armor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At least he fulfilled his purpose in the end and actually made friends.
Mm-hmm.
No.
That was the whole character arc I
Tears.
was going for.
That was the whole thing. It happened first session, so yeah, like the full thing.
It's a
Art
short arc.
And down.
Boom. Yeah, it was a short story, but it was a good one. Like a little clip in a newspaper, but still solid.
It's like one of those Reader's Digest feel-good stories.
Yeah. Chicken soup for the Thri-kreen.
He died surrounded by
Chicken
dogs, not
soup for the
beasts.
Thri-kreen. He's a bestseller in Dark Sun Barnes and Noble.
That's right.
It's very
Yeah, I will start to. Do any of us know the Thri-kreen death like how they want to be disposed of when they are deaded?
I'm died.
Scrape him off the fly swatter.
Yeah, like is it just like roll them up in like toilet paper and flush them, or like I don't know. I mean, just
Would that be a religion check or? Because it's not really a religion. It might be just more of an intelligence thing. I don't know how you want to play that.
Yeah, I would say that it's just unlikely that any of you really know enough
Have
about
any.
Thri-kreen to really have that sort of comment because of your background and
Is-
stuff.
so just in general, is burial like the common thing, or is it like burning is more common, or is it really race specific as far as we know?
That is something that I have looked up, and then I couldn't find it in 2 minutes and gave up, so I don't remember. But no, I think
I feel like it's burial.
yeah, we're gonna go with burial for its own sake. We're gonna say that's probably the way things go. It's not. It might be something that's kind of tied to like what they if they honor any element, then that would be a case that of which they would function. So if they honor fire, they would be a pyre and things of this nature. If they honor earth, then they'd be buried. If they honor wind, then it would probably be a fire as well. But then you would
Okay.
stand on like a high hill and scatter their ashes.
Okay.
And if it was water, then they would be drained of their blood. Right.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna bury him.
Okay.
I'm gonna start just.
Wait, I got a shovel.
Oh.
I pull out my shovel and I hand it to Milo.
This seems. Why do you just assume I would?
Well, you were gonna use your hands, so I kind of figured.
Yeah, no, I'll rage dig a grave here.
Rage digger grave.
Yeah.
Roll with advantage for
He's
grave
just
digging.
screaming.
Just tears too. He's sad.
Yeah.
Very emotional.
We see as this works, it's hard work. As we're looking at an area that's got a lot of stone that's sort of dug into this clay and such. The sun overhead slowly begins to kind of set as this happens. You're slowly kind of hefting your way down. The two moons.
I'm gonna set up camp while he's digging.
Sure. The two moons shine overhead, and interestingly enough, as the sun sets on this day of Goblin, a single shooting star crosses the sky.
Is it in the shape of a praying mantis?
No, it's just an astrological event. It says shooting star right there.
And these skeletons as well, they're still near us?
Yeah.
And you said they were wearing tattered clothing?
Yeah.
Anything else interesting on them?
They seem to be largely sort of withered away. I mean, there's really not much else. Each of them had like a bone club, out of which they had with them. One of them is broken. There are two more clubs. There are three more clubs, obviously. Which I know the cleric has one. They have these sort of hollowed out husks of eyes. And are largely skeletal. They don't seem to have any major identifying markers, but it's definitely strange, and they must have come from somewhere. So
I don't know how comfortable you feel with setting up camp around here, Faldir, but these things are dead.
Yeah, I don't know where else we're gonna set it up out here in this desert.
We can mount their heads on their leg bones as a warning to others.
Also, and I hate to be this guy as well, did we make sure that we took Nameless's equipment before we buried him? Like, we didn't bury him with his quarterstaff, because we do have a cleric that needs a quarterstaff.
Yeah, please.
Or some weapon of some sort.
Mine.
Just sobbing and just like looting the body. Just, I'm gonna miss you so much.
To get the 5 whole ceramic pieces on his corpse.
I'll actually once he's in the grave though, I'm gonna take one of the ranks because they're leaving little like weird bug things, right?
Yeah.
All right, go. I'll just do something like to see you on your journey, and I'll just squish him over. Then.
It screams. Ranks always scream when you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every time.
No, you just crush it. And water trickles down. You pour one out for your homie.
That's right.
Which I respect. Probably a gladiator tradition.
I can open a cold one.
Right? You don't have many ways to honor the dead, but that's certainly probably a way that that sort of thing might be done. And you guys set up camp for the night, and I think that we can call it there.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
I
So am I gonna need to do character prep again?